Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. That's right. Not Monday. This is Saturday. Forrest Fenn Treasure Found update, court update, I guess we could call it. It's April 30th. Can't believe it's the end of the month already. But K-Pro got a hold of some of the new motions or something, and that's what we're going to talk about. So take it away, K-Pro.
Well, so what I will start by saying is, hi, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. We had a chess championship going on over here.
Oh, cool. Um, the one thing I wanted to say is I want to thank Greg. Actually, had sent me yesterday morning or maybe Thursday night his motion and said you can go breaking news with it. And unfortunately, I couldn't. I've been tied up with some actual life things. But I want to thank him for giving me some of the or his motion. And there is quite a bit that's happened in the court side of things. And what I don't want tomorrow night to be is us reading the court documents, but I think it's important to get the court documents out. They will be up on Thor after, but I actually want to go over and highlight because then I want Monday to be let's do some summaries and then let's talk about what we think is happening. There are some that are a little unhappy with me because Mr. McCracken had asked for some assistance in drafting some questions, and Thor was the place he wanted them compiled. And did that, and I'm going to explain why.
So you're an accessory to a crime. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So I do want to talk about that. But with all of that being said, we have another set of breaking news that we'll start with, and then we will roll into the court stuff. The court stuff has gotten really, really interesting if you know the terms to look for, and we are going to show how this has actually helped even narrow it down further.
And guess what, everybody? We've got another K-Pro PowerPoint to make it all into little digestible bites for you all to consume if you want to. You know, what else are you doing on a Saturday? All right. Super chat's on. If you have to have that question to K-Pro, I will make K-Pro answer. But I'll monitor the chat.
But so some pretty big breaking news. Cynthia just announced that she was in Yellowstone. And she spent the day looking for the Nook. Unfortunately, she sees how much snow there is. You're going to be seeing the video very soon, but she did try her best to get around there, and she was not successful because about half of 9 Mile Hole area is still under snow, and about half of it has burned. The stuff that's been a little bit more clear has burned off. So I want to say thank you, Cynthia, for trying, but it is too early in the season, guys.
So I can hear myself again for some reason. I don't know why that is. It comes and goes. Now it's not. I don't know if anybody else can hear that, but there's like an echo when I talk. But anyway, yeah, Bobby, that's what we're talking about. Cynthia just dropped a video, so go check out Cynthia Meacham on YouTube.
If you want to drop the link, she's allowed us to play it, but we'll play it tomorrow night and tell everybody. But then she's actually going to do her video of, I think she kept the camera on the entire time she was walking around 9 Mile Hole. And so that'll help all of you. Maybe you guys are going to see something that she didn't. But
probably not, but you can try.
Yeah. So, okay, that's about Cynthia. And also, I want to talk about the McCracken piece. And then, so in my opinion, this is my opinion, and I'm allowed to have one. The only way that the Forrest Fenn family is going to get peace is when 9 Mile Hole comes out. Right now, 9 Mile Hole is not out. I think tonight we're going to solidify that Yellowstone is it. There's no question after a couple of these court documents that I don't think have been seen. I think some of them have, but I have not been watching, so I don't know. So when McCracken asked for help, when he asked for help about drafting the motion to intervene opposition, I helped. And I think it's because, or I know it's because, I think it would help the family as a whole. You're going to see some documents today that are going to talk about the family's position. So I am not in favor of McCracken, who believes Forrest is alive and a woman is being abused. I am in favor of getting the solution out. I don't believe that Yellowstone is correct in their assertion that this should be held private because we will destroy the land. We're talking about a group that manages 4 million people coming there. So in general, I just want you guys to know I'm not against the Forrest family. I'm trying to help the Forrest family.
Right.
I think this
I would just put it this way. Maybe it's easier for people to understand, maybe not. But in the Treasure Hunt amusement park, there's a big roller coaster, and that is the Forrest Fenn Treasure Ride. Well, people are still on it. People don't realize it's over. They don't realize the roller coaster is over, and they're not going to get off until they know what the solution was. And at that time, if the solution can somehow be verified, people may not like it, but whatever. If we could hear it from somebody who can verify it's correct, well, then that ride gets shut down. I mean, that it is the end of it, right? And it goes into with all the other rides like Fandango and Masquerade and all the other solved treasure hunts that are over, Treasure Trove. Yeah, so that's what we're kind of waiting for. So once that solution comes out, I think people will move on.
Well,
Yeah.
and think about this, Mike. I just thought about this today. If Wednesday happens and the judge says, no, he needs to tell his spot. I don't believe this with the government. He's going to put out a spot, and he does that on Friday. Do you know that we're only a couple shows away from going away ourselves? Like, we're not going to cover Forrest Fenn once we know the location. I am not going to spend time investigating Jack's story or if there's another chest or any of that. We're going to move on to these fun little hints.
There's a couple of what ifs, but yeah, we'll talk about the what ifs. What if Jack doesn't know the 9 clues, but he can say where he found it? I mean, there's a couple of what ifs. We'll see what he testifies to, what he talks
But
about.
it's probably the biggest week post find, I think, coming up this week. And I need to disclose to you guys something.
Mm-hmm.
I unsubscribed. So I've unnotified. I took the bell off of all of the notifications of other channels about a month or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually unsubscribed today. And that was a big thing for me. This community has got me through years ago socially, and and this is my own way of, it was big for me. There was over 50 channels from over the years, and I unsubscribed to all of them. And that, because I'm figuring every time I open YouTube, it brings up, because even though I don't have the bell on, it brings up some of
recommended videos. Yeah.
Yes. And I need that next step away from this. So, so you guys need to, don't assume that I know what's going on with the rest of I'm not spending any time now in any of the other, we're just going to try to deliver the news. And then, yeah, there you go. A lot of people think that.
Star Thursdays, everybody. I got the green shirt on. I realized I wear green a lot. Bobby Brass says, is the chase going away, guys? Everybody's chase is different for everybody. Everybody has their own chase. And for us, if Jack was to testify in the deposition about where he found it, the chase would go away for us, for me and K-Pro, and for this YouTube channel. It would. We would talk about it for a little bit in the upcoming weeks, but eventually, what else is there to talk about? It was there where Jack says he found it. You don't have to like it. We can talk about not liking it or whatever.
Yeah, it's a 12-step program. Yeah.
So it would go.
We are going, let's go for a walk. We have decided that we are going to continue WSOF for everyone.
All right.
For many years to come. It'll always be a tribute to WSOF for Forrest, but we will also be tangenting to some of the other channel or some of the other hunts, and we may do something else. It's so far away right now, I don't want to say. I'll just say, yeah, Detroit, baby, Detroit. I'll just say I'm going through my own steps, and I slipped up in the last week or two in talking about some of the negative. I'm not doing that anymore. Right. It just keeps it all right back to where I was 5 years ago. And I'm so much stronger. I'm so much happier. And I know a lot of you, and I want to thank you for being kind of a part of my ridiculous journey along the way. But with all of that, I really want to focus on as much of the facts and as little of our opinions as you don't need to hear my opinions, because we've gone from this desert to a ton of information. Mike, 2 weeks ago, we found out there's a poem that was inside the Forrest Fenn treasure chest, and that's like old news. So anyway,
Joe Sharon says, Hooli, where did Jack say he did not have a solve? And that was me. I'm saying, what if? I don't know if Jack has a solve or not. I know he found the treasure chest and he now owns it, but I'd like to hear in his own words how he found it, where he found it.
And if that doesn't come out, and when we get a Nook picture, we need though confirmation. In my opinion, we need confirmation of 9 Mile Hole. This video, and there is recognition of this video. You're going to see it in the court documents and presentation that we have. But in general, once we get a little bit more, I'm ready to what Toby called pivot. We're going to pivot to some other things. Huge breakthrough in Xavier Marks, and I promised I know you're watching, that I wouldn't say anything. It's huge.
Jan Kerb. No, Cynthia didn't say she found the Nook. She said she's, I think, trying to find the Nook or something. Yeah, she'll let you know when she finds it for sure.
Guys, you will hear her from Yellowstone. I can tell you, I talked to her on the phone half an hour ago. She is really disappointed. Now, here's the hard part, and people don't realize.
Ranger
If
Jack.
you have not, and Justin's cameras are still up, by the way. But anyway, she said hi to you, Justin. When you are over on the other side, you don't realize how much it takes to get over the logs. Now think about getting over those logs, and that's a lot of work to get over all the down.
You gotta go back.
No, but you have a foot worth of snow. So,
Thanks.
So it's like she's exhausted. She is a super athlete, and she is exhausted. Yes, Cynthia needs some nookie.
Jack points out that you're pulling back right around when Ranger Jack came out, so maybe Ranger Jack will have to make an appearance on the show. If we ever have a final show, I'd say, Ranger Jack might have to show up. But anyway.
Okay, if I knew who Ranger Jack was, is that like
the Copper Factory? On the Copper Factory. Oh, you didn't see it? Ranger Jack made an appearance. Oh, you'll have to watch it. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh.
Last Tuesday. Yeah, check it out.
No, I went in at a very unfortunate time. I went in towards the later part of the show when you and I went in, and I saw some. So sorry. Moving on. Let's go.
Yeah, we know Toby and Shelly are live, and we did not plan to go live at the same time. I mean, we know now. We didn't realize when we scheduled it this morning. So sorry.
Yeah, I don't know if they are covering Forrest Fenn stuff. I saw a post of Toby's, and he has some documents, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. I knew he did the first week, and I haven't been able to be in there. So I apologize. God, I know what happened, a week and a half ago when we went live when someone else was going live, and it's caused chaos. So hopefully Toby does not follow suit with some of the others.
Randy's got a question.
Does that mean Beacon Star Mondays?
If we get that text solved, it just might, Randy. It just might. We're getting closer.
I don't know if you saw last Thursday, but Mike asked me to put a PowerPoint together, and I said, I will as long as I get the documents. Hey, Mike, have you gotten
documents? I'm doing it when we're done going live tonight, although I'm starting not to feel good, so I don't know what's up. But I am going to send you the Beacon Star stuff tonight. So
I think Beacon Star should always be on Thursday because, for goodness sake, there's a shirt already made. I think Mondays can start to go into Xavier Marks is the one that I just want to share. Like I have in my knowledge from other people and myself about 6 ciphers, but there is one huge thing that I'll just say the Roman numerals are cracked. And once you crack that, you realize this is so.
Okay.
Do you not agree? The Roman numerals tell you that there's a whole.
I don't know if there's more or not, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're not making stuff up for sure. That's for sure.
And this is what I love about Xavier Marks. There's no question. It's not advanced ciphers. There's no question. Once you crack it, it makes sense. So anyway, that's enough about Xavier Marks. We're here for Forrest Fenn.
Let's be clear. The Cowlazars YouTube channel is not ending. We just transitioned to something else, guys.
Right. And it's kind of sad for me because this is the time that I'm starting to say my goodbye. I'm creating my Dear John letter because I think it will. But here's the thing. Though. If Yellowstone wins on Wednesday and Jack does not say any of the information and the estate does not share that video, we're going to be around another year, 2 years, 3 years.
Did you say that in the court documents it mentions this supposed video? Is that what you just said?
No. In my PowerPoint, you will see where it is discussed. There's different
court document or no? Okay, well then let's get right to the PowerPoint. Then I only got 10 minutes, so I have to get off.
Let's go.
He's not paying attention. All right, here we go.
Okay, wait. Now,
what?
Pulley, is that a joke? I saw that on Facebook, and I'm not following if it's something from something else.
Who's Tatooine NP?
Tatooine NP also filed to intervene out of this world. What does that mean? Or is that a joke?
Tatooine National Park. Maybe that's a joke? Yeah, out of this world. Get it? It's a Star Wars reference. Yeah, I think.
For goodness sake, you can't do this to me, Holy.
little on K-Pro there. Okay. All right. I think that's what she means. Wait a minute. Dog, you don't know that, dog. Did Zoe do her deposition yet?
Yes, Mike, you're so not following along. Doug is right. And Cracker Jack is right. The Gavai that I'll have, it'll probably be longer than Copper Dance Hunt for sure. Okay, but we're not saying goodbye yet because a lot of it depends on this week. So
yes, it's a joke. Okay, bro. She got it.
Holy.
All right. Okay, let's go, guys. Here we go. Super chat's on. Thumbs up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Saturday. We hope we give you some information. I did not know Zoe did a deposition already. I don't know how people know what was in it, but anyway. All right, here we go. I'm sure K-Pro will explain it in her PowerPoint.
Okay.
Hey,
And
we have a calendar.
okay, so here is what I'm hoping you guys can actually read this. One of the things that I think a lot of people are losing is, whoa, Mike. Okay. One of the things that I think people are losing is what is happening when. They're like, the deposition already happened, like Mike just said. No. So right now, what we're going to go over is the boxes that are in yellow. The ones that are in yellow, and I'm sorry, I'm going to actually cut this differently so you can read it next time. We are going to cover, Mike, can you read that this week's, the gray box? The gray box is what we already did last Monday, but look at Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Can you read those? I can't read those. If you're talking, you're muted.
Tuesday was the estate response to the government motion. That's Tuesday.
Okay. We're going to cover that. So the last thing that we covered was the government putting in their motion, which we think it meant Yellowstone. But then there's going to be a response. We're going to cover that. Okay, what's the next one?
McCracken's response to the government motion. That was Wednesday of this week.
And we're going to go over that. It's important and that's what we helped McCracken with. I know some people are upset, but we don't want this motion to go through.
And then Thursday was Zoe's deposition. The hearing is set. Thompson intervention, objection to intervene.
Yes, and we're going to go over that. Packer Jack, you bring up a great point. I
didn't know who Thompson was personally. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's Greg. That's
well, I know now.
Greg okay. Brutal truth, Greg. Zoe also admitted that she owns the turquoise bracelet, and it's not a part of the Fenn estate, so it's not a subject to McCracken's claim.
That's true.
You're exactly right, and I want it clarified. Jamie, if you're watching this, put this down for a second. Put me in. I need to put a specific question. Jamie, here's the question you need to ask. Jack, did Forrest Fenn, when he passed away, did he have physical possession of the bracelet, of the turquoise bracelet?
And you're asking that to who?
I'm asking Jamie to ask that at Jack's deposition. That won't give out the 9 clues, and it won't give out the final spot. That question is important, in my opinion. Let's go back.
Cynthia Meacham in the house. I did not find the Nook log today, although I tried for 3 hours. That teaser video was made yesterday before I went. All right, Cynthia. I know you'll keep trying, and if anybody's going to find it, you're going to find it. So good luck, and more important, stay safe out there. Okay.
And
all right.
Okay. Okay. So that's what we're going to go over. I'll make this bigger for next time. I just kind of want to track what we're doing. This Wednesday is the hearing where the judge is going to decide whether the government wins or loses. And Friday is when Jack's deposed either way. And that is the end of discovery. And that's when basically everybody goes back to their ways and starts really preparing for the actual hearing. For those of you that don't understand the hearing's happening, y'all. We're it's going. Okay, go ahead.
Parties to this case.
So I still haven't figured out why I am, but some people are asking me, why did I intervene in this matter? I did not intervene. If you know how to, what we call read, that's why they make the lines different colors. I'm a party of interest. And
it's not spelled right. So
right, exactly. But you can see who's been added. You can see that, and that's too small for me to read, but the different people that have intervened are officially in the court record. So those of you that said there's no way the government's intervening, you're wrong. They have now intervened. I do like, though, that people are really focusing on making sure that we are factual with the documents. So the documents are here. So
let's be perfectly clear for everybody. Even though you are, or somebody close to your name is listed as a interested party, you have not intervened. You have not submitted any motion. You're not part of the court process at all, right? Correct. You're not part of the case.
At this point, I did not. Correct. I have ordered documents.
Here's the right. Okay.
I have ordered documents.
Right.
Because I have one. I'm called out in the motion to appeal, and I didn't even know, or motion to compel, and I didn't even know it. So I did feel like it was okay for me to order the public file. I have called the court a couple times trying to figure some of these things out, like when does something hit the docket. I have become an interested observer.
Right.
That does not mean I am not intervening. I have not put myself in any of these. I don't. understand why yet. I have a really good guess, but until I confirm it, I'm not going to discuss it.
Holy with breaking news. Yeah, there's I don't know why. Dan Barbarisi said in page 310 of his book, Jack sold the bracelet back to Forrest. I don't remember that.
I didn't remember that either. Do you
Interesting. Well, there you go. Maybe
I don't have the book with me.
And if that's the case, would it then no longer be part of Forrest Fenn's estate if it was sold back to him or Zoe? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
I do believe the Fenn family has the bracelet now. I will say that. Let's keep going.
All right. Yeah, there is an echo. Let me know if you guys can hear it in the chat or not. Hopefully it's just me, but
yeah.
Update pictures of activity.
Okay, these are the things, and I just want to show this. So for those of you that are going, where this is actually available to everybody, accessible right now. If you go up on Thor, this updates. Basically, it updates the midnight after something is registered in the system. So everything. Yes, Doug, I just showed it. My name is an interested party. Can you go back one?
He said he didn't see K-Pro listed. Get it?
Yeah,
yeah, they do hear this echo, so I don't know if you can do anything, K-Pro. But if not, it's fine.
Well, what am I doing?
I don't know. There's
Why
an
do
echo.
you look my side?
Because nothing's changed on my side.
Nothing's changed on my side.
Well, you have those earbuds are different of some way to perform. Oh no, we can't do that. We can hear whatever's running in the background.
Okay.
Oh wait. Talk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, it's fine. We can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So, Alan K.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's funny enough.
Okay. Do we need to go over any of these updates or no?
No, that's what we're going over. So these are all the things that have hit the court docket and are available. Some of them just got filed Monday, so or filed Friday, and so we'll have even more updates on Monday. Okay, go.
Objection to the motion to intervene.
Okay, so we did the motion to intervene, which came from the Department of Interior with a sworn document from the Chief Ranger of Yellowstone. Some people still don't believe, and that means that Yellowstone's not involved. That baby's gonna be put to bed tonight. Okay, so we're actually gonna go over. I have put in red circles the things that highlighted to me, but I'm gonna ask Mike to actually read the entire set of documents. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the petitioner counter defendant's opposition to the United States of America's motion to intervene. So this is McCracken stating why the judge should not grant Yellowstone National Park's motion to intervene.
The Department of Interior with Yellowstone. Yeah, it's a nuance, but it's important to some people, that nuance. So, yes.
All right, and I'm not going to read the beginning part, but these are the reasons McCracken lists in his counter motion, which is number one. McCracken is of the belief that the probate court lacks the necessary jurisdiction to rule on this matter. The lands in question and for which the United States of America's government is seeking to intervene for and protect are in the state of Wyoming, and they are federal lands governed by federal laws. Consequently, only a federal court in the state of Wyoming has the necessary jurisdiction to hear such matters. That's an interesting legal point, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's what I have no knowledge of or no basis of expertise. So I'll let the courts work on that. But basically, he's saying, how can a New Mexico judge in a federal or in a state? How can the federal? Yeah, they're not in the right court, in the right jurisdiction.
Right, I get it.
I like it. Maybe.
Number two, in order to intervene, the party seeking to intervene must have an interest in the property that is the subject of the litigation. As this is a probate case, the United States of America's interest must be in property or assets belonging to the Fenn estate. Zoe Fenn Old has stated the chest is not part of the estate and was allegedly gifted to Jack. Therefore, they cannot intervene. Regardless, the United States of America has no interest in the chest at all. If the United States of America wants to pursue this, the appropriate manner is to seek some kind of declaratory or injunctive relief in a separately filed case within the correct jurisdiction. The United States of America is improperly using the probate case in an attempt to censor the alleged location of the chest.
This one's kind of interesting because what he's saying basically is once Zoe put something in that says the treasure chest is no longer a part of this estate. This is just a probate matter and we're trying to close it out, that the government's intervening in a probate matter. He's saying inappropriate. Go, if you want to go after Jack, he owns the chest, go after Jack. But if the chest isn't a part of this, and that's the reason Jack's being deposed, that's what he's saying. I think it's another technicality one that I think will be interesting.
But I guess the issue I see with it is, then how would the Department of Interior prevent the location from being known? I guess McCracken's trying to say you can try it, but this is the wrong court to do it in.
I get yes.
I
yes,
mean,
that's what I think he's saying.
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting for sure. All right, so that one I get it. I see what he's saying there. Number 3, the relief the United States of America seeks is not constitutional. The government cannot silence the alleged finder or any other searcher under the First Amendment. In this case, the United States of America seeks to silence the alleged finder or any other searcher based on the speculation of what he might say, and more speculation on what some unknown parties might or might not do to Yellowstone National Park. You cannot infringe on a constitutional right based on speculation. I get it. I think in my opinion, everybody, when the motion from the Department of Interior said any searcher on any location, that's not, you can't do that.
That's overreaching that. And he actually has, I think he watches our show because he actually put that in there. But he's just saying in general, Jack has the right for freedom of speech. He's not yelling fire. So this is, again, another, I would love to have seen some court references here of precedents, but I think this is the difference between a pro se and I believe McCracken did a really good job with this. I would have loved it even to be in more legalese, but from what Lisa, our attorney, has said, pro se, the judge will give a lot of leeway to. So, okay, let's keep going.
Number 4, the United States of America's government has failed to file any protective order, and the grounds for one has not been established. The government has claimed to have known about the alleged location of the treasure chest since August 2020, yet has failed to timely seek a protective order or a timely intervention. McCracken believes the long time that has elapsed has disqualified them from claiming any protection or intervention, and by not acting sooner, they have effectively waived their right to do so. There you go. Okay, bro. There are existing precedents for denying all untimely intervention, including Thriftway Marketing Corp. versus State of New Mexico. A key consideration in determining timeliness is whether the effort to intervene occurred shortly after the would-be intervener discovered such action was necessary to protect its interests. Allowing them to intervene and granting them a protective order at the last minute would set a dangerous precedent in contravention into prior judgments on timeliness. I got to say that makes sense to me.
This makes sense to me, just like if they rule out Greg's due to time, that he's time barred, he didn't file in the first 4 months to 1 year. How can they allow Yellowstone to do this when he's exactly right. Now, Yellowstone could say, judges, because we never thought this would get this far. And I have some thoughts on that, but they should have filed this early on. So then there would have been, been a lot less resources expended, et cetera. So this is, again, it's an interesting one to see if it will hold the time barring piece.
It really is going to be breaking news when the judge rules on this, and then we can go live and read it to see which way it's going to go for sure.
Right.
Number 5, McCracken alleges that a possible alternative goal of their motion is to legitimize the alleged finder and protect them from having to release a solve that they are suspected of not having. The National Park Service administers Yellowstone National Park, but the motion to intervene has not come from them, nor has it come from a Department of the Interior attorney in the state of Wyoming. Instead, it has suspiciously come from a New Mexico government attorney, which raises the prospect that their intervention is not authorized, approved, or sanctioned by the state of Wyoming's Department of the Interior. Any intervention should therefore be denied until a legitimate request is made from a Department of the Interior attorney from the state of Wyoming. Yeah, I don't know how that works with attorneys, so I can't comment on that one.
Yeah, I think this is another technical one, but this is important. And the pro se person getting into all this nuance, I think, is pretty impressive. Basically, what he's saying is I thought it was going to come from the Department of Justice district or attorney general out of Wyoming because it was a Wyoming matter. It came out of New Mexico. Think about if you were putting a court case together and you believed it was in New Mexico and the New Mexico attorney general. I see his point. I don't know technically if he's correct or not. And that's what the judge will rule on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, Doug. That's paragraph 4. Wait until you see some of the other paragraphs.
Number 6, McCracken further claims that the intervention has potential to greatly harm McCracken's case. Comparison of McCracken's solve to the alleged finder's solve is a key part of McCracken's evidence. If the government attorneys are allowed in depositions, they can simply object on privilege grounds to any question McCracken asks about the location of the chest, thereby denying him crucial evidence. McCracken has a right to justice, and that right must be upheld. Any attempt to prevent the location being revealed by Mr. Stoof is highly prejudicial to McCracken's claims, as Mr. Stoof has already been in contact with park officials. Over his alleged claim, he cannot plead the Fifth Amendment to avoid divulging elements of his solve during the video deposition. Also, to date, enforcement of the System Unit Resource Protection Act, or SUPRA, against searchers of Forrest Fenn has not happened despite illegal diggings and excavations and searchers needing to be rescued. This effectively means the National Park Service has waived enforcement of it. There should therefore be no legal impediment to Mr. Stoof releasing the solve. I don't know about all that one.
Yeah.
Just because you don't prosecute somebody doesn't mean you're waiving any future prosecution, in my opinion.
I think it's an interesting point. Some of these are, I think, stronger than others. Joe Chiron, I know it's down in New Mexico. I don't know any more than that. But if you want to see McCracken's original claim, you can see it up on Thor.
So here, save me all and litigate good. Okay.
But
do we know McCracken's solve? I don't know.
I just answered that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where they could find it, right?
New Mexico, and his position. I don't think he put out the 9 clues. He's waiting for that from Jack. And if Jack's not allowed to, and it sounds like Yellowstone wants to stop anyone from that.
Right. Number 7, McCracken believes the intervention is without merit and that public lands are not under threat in the way described in the motion to intervene. Yellowstone Park has millions of visitors every year and copes well with the influx. The addition of an extra 50 to 100 diehard searchers visiting the alleged location of the treasure chest will add little risk to any damage. Searchers have been going to 9 Mile Hole as they suspect it to be the location for some time now, but there's been no demonstrated impact from that group of searchers. The onus is therefore on the United States of America to show what damage may occur and to the extent that they warrant a protective order, but they've failed to do so. At a minimum, McCracken would expect the United States of America to show impact studies to justify their intervention. Absent those studies, the motion to intervene is therefore hypothetical in nature and based on pure speculation. The United States of America has failed to show good cause for being granted a protective order here. I kind of agree with that one.
This one not only does he say, so he basically says, they are saying that if the alleged location comes out, it'd be destroyed. But we've all known that at least a majority of the searchers have believed it's 9 Mile Hole. And other than Cynthia running around there really hasn't been any damage. So they can go by their speculation, but they need to provide more than speculation. They need to provide proof. And I can see that. This one I think is a pretty good argument.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, wait,
it's really good soon. It gets really good soon.
Yellowstone Park has existing and adequate remedies to cater for any potential damage by closing off parts that are threatened or damaged, increasing patrols, installing signs and cameras. The find site is not an archaeological dig site that needs the level of protection that the United States of America is asking for here. It took an act of Congress to give them the ability to protect archaeological sites in this way, and there is no such act for treasure hunting sites. They cite no law giving them the authority to do the things they say they want to intervene to do. There are many sites of special importance as well as sites of historical importance on public lands, and none of these are hidden by protective orders or placed off limits by default. In fact, these places are placed on maps, signposted, and given prominence. Visitors are encouraged to go and visit them, and they do often in large numbers, e.g. school trips. The location of the treasure is no different from any of these sites, but in fact would likely attract far less traffic than them. That's kind of well thought out, I guess.
That's another one that I think is, if you have to have an act of Congress to be able to make something an archaeological dig site, but we just have a small treasure hunt and maybe 100 searchers that'll go there, why does the government get to intervene on that? I think this is an interesting one.
I think Ranger Jack does need to file a motion to intervene. All Paragraph 7 is very good, Doug Denning says. Okay.
Ooh,
But wait, there's more. Number 9, McCracken believes the intervention will be counterproductive to protecting public lands as more searchers will be spending more time trying to locate the alleged location of the treasure chest. Now that they know the alleged location is in the Wyoming part of Yellowstone National Park and off trail, we can expect many more remote sections to be searched and potentially damaged. Searchers could also be at a far greater risk of injuries, accidents, and deaths off trail. The intervention is therefore more likely to cause considerably more harm than good, given that searchers will be coming regardless of attempts to suppress the location of the treasure site. Government money would therefore be better spent making the site more amenable, safer, and more resistant to damage from searchers who simply want to visit. I gotta say, I agree with that one.
Well, and the big point here, if you just say it's Yellowstone, like we believe it says, you are now going to draw more people to a wide variety of areas. If you say 9 Mile Hole, that puts all of it in one location, and they're actually going to be able to manage it from a productivity standpoint much easier than saying anywhere in Yellowstone. That's 2.2 million miles or million acres. And this one's an interesting one. I like it.
But wait, there's more. Number 10, McCracken believes the best way forward, if protection of the land is truly sought, is to release the alleged location and ask searchers to take care, be responsible, and leave no trace, and threaten to close the area if the location is abused. Searchers will not be hunting treasure, so will not be digging up the land or actively causing damage. They will be visiting a site that would be special significance, misspelled, to them. Searchers are very unlikely to damage a place that is special to them. This is consistent with the list of exceptions to the System Unit Resource Protection Act, SUPRA. The person acted with due care, and the destruction, loss of, or injury to the system unit resource was caused solely by an act or omission of a third party other than an employee or agent of the person, or both. Both McCracken and Jack Stoof can commit to this so the solve can be safely released without consequences.
So he's kind of using his own SUPRA Act against Yellowstone and saying, actually, the due care would be to release the specific area. Mm-hmm. And we need to do that for the community. And this is where, Jamie's already said he's going to put out everything. He has his own thoughts, but he's putting out everything to the community. So, yeah.
So Yellowstone should just do it for him.
Right.
Number 11, McCracken believes the protections they are seeking are far too broad and overreaching. In Clause 11 of their motion, they claim prohibiting disclosure of specific locations on public lands where persons have searched for the Fenn treasure. This could encompass McCracken's and other searchers' search locations, as well as the one by the alleged finder. This overreach is unnecessary if the sole purpose is the protection of the land. Trying to mass censor every searcher's search area is preposterous and cannot be justified in their motion. To me, what they were trying to do is say, hey, searchers, stay out of Yellowstone National Park. We don't want you here at all. And they can't do that. I mean,
right. Well, and to say all searchers, and I can see Jack and 9 Mile, if that is their position, Jack and 9 Mile, because 9 Mile doesn't have the infrastructure, but all searchers in all locations under Yellowstone.
Sorry. Took me back to a park bench. I didn't want to think about it. Go ahead.
Breathe and knock. Okay. And I'm going to, I'll leave this to the end. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I do that.
No, that's the first. Okay, so that's McCracken's.
Right, which we just read.
Yes. Now let's go. Each blue one is a new section. This is how I kind of alert myself. We're now going to look at a second document. So we had the government intervene. Now we have had McCracken put out a pretty well thought out motion. And now the Forrest Estate has to respond whether they're in favor or not. Now, here's what I want to make you really aware of. They have taken the position that they are okay with the government saying, we don't want you to give the final location or the 9 clues. What they have said is, this is our probate hearing. We don't care about that. So we will do what you ask. So when they say they're in favor, they're not saying whether McCracken whether they're in favor of McCracken or not. They're just saying in general, we'll do what they ask because we left it up to Jack. And if Jack wants to put it out, Jack can put it out. So They are in favor of doing what I think they already agreed to in August of 2020 and keeping their mouth shut. And that's what I think this says. That's my opinion. But let's actually see what Fenn's estate responded, because they are saying they will comply with what the government has said. They're not objecting to it.
Okay, let's see what they say. Forrest estate response in support of the motion to intervene.
And I think this was submitted Thursday or Friday.
Comes now Zoe Old, personal representative for the state of Forrest Burke Fenn, by and through her undersigned counsel, blah, 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 and responds in support of the motion to intervene by the United States of America, the government's motion. The estate bases its support upon the following. Is everybody following along here? Paying attention?
Okay, hold on one quick second. Speaker 9 asks, where does Bad Greg? We don't call him Bad Greg. We'll call him Brutal Truth Greg. His motion to intervene is next. We have his motion, and then we have responses. So we're getting there. This is like, we're like on Thursday. Friday, everything blew up. We have Friday's documents. So we're getting there, but we need to show the response to the government. And then we have a new motion to intervene, which is Greg. And then we have the estate's response for the judge to consider. And I think
Greg, it's lawyer Greg. Okay.
He's not a lawyer. He's pro se, but I guess he's kind of a lawyer. So
for himself. Number one, this case involves petitioner Jamie McCracken's claims of unilateral contract and fraud. See McCracken's petition. Okay. McCracken claims he deciphered Forrest Fenn's poem, discovered the location of the treasure chest in 2014 in New Mexico, but did not retrieve it. And that for more than 6 years afterward, Fenn continually moved the treasure chest to prevent McCracken from finding and retrieving the treasure chest. McCracken claims that as part of this fraudulent scheme, Fenn, who McCracken claims is still alive, has stalked and spied upon McCracken and continues to do so to this date. Finally, McCracken claims that Fenn, to this day, continues to threaten, harass, and assault McCracken's named witness in order to deprive McCracken of information McCracken claims this witness has about why Fenn allegedly moved the treasure chest. Well, that's a mouthful. And
I think he starts with the merits of McCracken's case. I think he's reminding the judge, let's remind ourselves where he's starting. He's not saying he needs the 9 clues. He's saying this is the basis of his, and I think he's saying that to remind the judge when they go into court what that means.
Yeah. Number 2, the estate has counterclaimed against McCracken for malicious abuse of process. The estate has no intention of requesting that Mr. Stoof disclose either his solution to the poem, how he found the treasure chest, or where exactly he found the treasure chest. I think what the Zoe Old is saying is McCracken's claim on the probate case is ridiculous. We don't need to go into the real solution. What he's claiming doesn't make any sense anyway. There's no need to go into the real solution.
Well, and I think by number 2, they're not only saying it to McCracken, they're saying it to everybody. We're counterclaiming. He's going to cover all of our fees because this is a abusive process. That's what he's saying. And then number 3 is we don't need the final location to be disclosed to prove that Forrest is still not alive and sexually abusing a woman.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's, in other words, the real solution has got nothing to do with McCracken's claim. His claim
exactly. That's what I believe they are saying.
I see it. I see it. Number 4, rather, the estate only intends to establish that Mr. Stoof found the treasure chest in Wyoming, as was publicly disclosed by Fenn in August 2020, and that A, Mr. Stoof found the treasure chest without any assistance or help from Fenn or anyone related to Fenn. B, Mr. Stoof never met Mr. Fenn prior to the week of June 8th, 2020. C, Mr. Stoof on his own retrieved the treasure chest from Wyoming. D, Mr. Stoof brought the treasure chest to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and returned it to Fenn, who then gave it to Mr. Stoof as a gift. And E, Mr. Stoof is the owner of the treasure chest and has complete control over it.
So basically what Summer is saying is, here's what we're asking, Jack. So government, don't be upset at us. If anybody's objecting, go after McCracken. This is what we're limiting our questions and answers to ensure that we can resolve this probate case, because they keep focusing on, we're not worried about all this other stuff. We're worried about the probate case and closing it out.
Anybody catch that there's no dates here? There's no dates on when Jack says he found it. Could have been the year before. None of this negates it.
When he first discovered it. And that's why that is a great point. And that is why some of you are upset at me for giving Jamie some questions to ask. That's one of the questions.
Right. All this does not say anything about when Jack found it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a sidebar. Number 5, the estate and Stoof have an interest in protecting what they both consider protected information, including other confidential research, development, or commercial information under some act. Rule provides in pertinent part on timely motion, the court by which a subpoena was issued shall quash or modify the subpoena if it requires disclosure of privileged or other protected matter, and no exception or waiver applies, or subjects a person to undue burden. And I guess what they're saying is if it was illegal to go in Yellowstone, well, Jack's going to put himself undue burden on himself, right?
No. Okay. So number 5 is different than number 6. So let's talk about number 5.
Okay.
Number 5, they're saying
protected information.
If you have $100,000 car and somebody wants your car, that's how much it's worth. They are saying the intellectual property, this is a new argument. The intellectual property in itself is valuable. Jack could sell a book. Jack could sell a story. So
go ahead.
He says it more in Greg's response.
Okay. Because I just don't see how that's protected information. I understand Jack saying, hey, I could do this, but is it protected? Why is it considered protected?
It's protected because it's his story, his information, that if it is of commercial informational use, if he could sell his story, but McCracken and Greg want to basically take his story and make sure it's outed first, he's not entitled to that value. This is saying there's a commercial use. It's a completely separate act now that they are referencing. One, they're saying he should be able to do it himself, but this is a value. If he has to say it, he's going to lose money.
So I guess my thing is if that's what does protected information mean in a legal sense? I don't understand what protected information is. You're saying I
didn't pull that. I could bring up NMRA 1045C3AB. I can definitely do that because it'll go into that.
I got you. Okay. And then we're down to B, if a subpoena requires disclosure of a trade secret or other confidential research, development, or commercial information. I don't know the difference between protected information and commercial information.
Well, think about it this way. Think about if Jack was being asked in court, how did you invent, and it's some patent. Let's just use it as an example. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't want to disclose how he came up with it because it's his patent and he doesn't want to disclose it because it's a value that he has that information. Does that make sense?
I guess it does. Yeah, I guess.
Okay. That's my interpretation of this. So now they're not only saying this isn't timely, this isn't, it's a value. So if it's a value, he shouldn't have to say it until he's ready to sell the book rights or whatever it is.
Okay. Number 7, the solution to Fenn's poem is valuable, confidential. Oh, there it is. And commercial information. That's what.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe I said it earlier. Okay. I said it too early. Sorry.
The solution, let me read that again. The solution to Fenn's poem is valuable, confidential, and commercial information. So that is exactly what you said. Indeed, yes. McCracken acknowledges much in paragraph 39 of his position. The petitioner suffered damages, including the loss of the contents of the chest and all additional financial revenue that would arise from being the finder of the chest, such as books, merchandise, movies, documentaries. So they used his own words against him, McCracken.
Right.
McCracken has no right to know Mr. Stoo's solution to the poem and the exact physical location where Mr. Stu found the treasure chest in Wyoming, both of which Fenn confirmed while he was alive. That's interesting. So they're not saying, well, we don't care about the Yellowstone part. We're just saying in general that Jack should not have to give it up because it's valuable information.
Right.
That you would pay for someday.
That maybe. He earned as his right true. As the, treasure
he
chest.
That's true.
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay.
That's a new little facet.
There's more.
That could there's so much more.
Some would say. Moreover, number 9, McCracken has publicly vowed to make all of the discovery in this case public after the trial of this matter. In fact, he's already made public the attached email from Stoof to Fenn dated June 5, 2020, a copy of which is attached as Exhibit A here too.
Okay,
Nope.
stop for a second. Stop for a second.
And then we went live and told everybody. Yeah, go ahead.
So those of you that said McCracken invented those and Cynthia typed up that email and those pictures are not real, we're going to show that the Fenn estate recognizes we gave him that and he shared it. Shame on him. They recognize and just put in the court documents that they confirmed with 5 exclamation points that email and those pictures are real. So those that think Cynthia made it up because she's a scoundrel, Cynthia, stop doing that. No, that's not. This validates that email is true.
So this is a very interesting point Mike N brings up. So how can Jack commercialize the location in that case if the motion from the government is enforced? Is it true, K-Pro, that if this judge in this probate case says, yes, allow the Department of Interior's motion to proceed, meaning Jack, you don't have to give it up. That's only in this probate case. That motion is only for this probate case.
Here's what I think will happen.
Uh-huh.
I believe, if I'm going to guess, and I'm going to leave this maybe for K-Pro's Corner in my opinion, I believe if the government says, I will allow the question, Jack can then respond how he wants. He can, 1, answer, I don't want to answer because I want to commercialize off of it. Or 2, he's going to say, I plead the 5th because he did have a criminal action.
Right.
It was illegal when he caught. He can plead the 5th based on that. So those 2 reasons, I believe, even if the judge rules on Wednesday, but the Fenn estate is brilliant in trying to bring up this other part of that's his own property. Why should he have to disclose it? Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you answered the question. If the judge allows the Department of Interior's motion, approves it, where Jack is not allowed to give the solution, McCracken is not allowed to know the solution, can Jack therefore then give it a year from now? That motion is only in this probate case. The motion from the Department of Interior only applies to this probate case. Or
I believe
another court case, do they have to refile that motion in another case if there is one?
I believe that Jack already entered into a legal binding agreement in August of 2020 with Forrest that says he would not, as long as I believe, this is my opinion, outlined the misdemeanors that he could have been charged with, and they could have confiscated the treasure chest. They said, we don't want this shit show either. We want this to go away. So in lieu of you keeping your mouth shut, you get to keep the treasure chest and you don't get to go to jail or you're not going to get fined. I believe it is not this court hearing that is going to be silenced. I believe he is silenced forevermore.
But regardless of whatever agreement they had in August of 2020 or whatever it was, the motion in this case only applies to this probate case. Do you know the answer? So if there was another court case a year from now, does the Department of Interior have to file another motion?
I believe they would, but then they would just say, hey, we already got it here. I believe so. I'm totally guessing. I'm not a lawyer.
It seems like the motion is only for this deposition for this probate court case. The motion.
I believe so.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand.
I believe so, but I don't know.
Ooh, the intellectual property is Forrest Fenn's.
Jack's story is Jack's.
Right.
Yeah. And Sassy exactly. I don't know what exactly is about, but Sassy agrees with me.
Interesting. Okay. Number 10, the government's motion reveals that Mr. Stoof and Jack and Fenn disclosed to the chief ranger and the deputy chief ranger that the treasure chest had been hidden by Fenn and found and retrieved by Mr. Stoof on land within their specific jurisdiction. Sarah is only Yellowstone National Park jurisdiction. Now, this is an interesting one for the people that say Department of Interior means it could be anywhere the Department of Interior owns in Wyoming. Nothing proves it was in Yellowstone. Let me read this.
So what they're saying here is the chief ranger in her specific jurisdiction filed this motion. The only jurisdiction of Sarah Davis is Yellowstone National Park. We're going to have some additional evidence that it's only Yellowstone, but this is the first of about 6 different ways the Fenn estate and responses from the Fenn estate say Yellowstone National Park. I'm going to go so far as to say they're trying to help us. The people a week ago saying this proves it's not Yellowstone. I believe he's saying it as obvious as possible in 5 different ways. This is the first of 5 different ways.
And again, this is from the Forrest Fenn estate is filing this motion.
Yes.
Right? This motion. And they say they know the location, everybody. They know the solution. This is Forrest Fenn's estate. They say that they disclosed to the chief ranger and the deputy chief ranger that the treasure chest had been hidden by Fenn and found and retrieved by Mr. Stoof on land within their specific jurisdiction.
But let's be clear.
Why do you think they reached out to the chief ranger and the deputy chief ranger of Yellowstone? Because it was in Yellowstone National Park.
And let's be clear, Zoe is stating she does not know. I do not believe she has watched the video. I believe she has purposely made sure she does not know from Forrest, the video, or any of these. I believe the estate attorneys, Tom and Carl and Hickey, may know. Zoe made it clear, and she has made it clear to me that she does not know the information.
Isn't a national park ranger have jurisdiction over all federal parks?
No.
I don't know the answer.
From what I understand, no, but there's some additional regulations that are referenced that are going to narrow it to specifically Yellowstone. So let's keep going.
Okay. But wait, there's more. Number 11, Mr. Stoof and the estate. That echoes back. Mr. Stoof and the estate have been and are still mindful of the potential liability of parties who cause damage to public lands, either directly or indirectly, by failing to exercise due care under the System Unit Resource Protection Act. As a result of the potential liability and for other reasons, the estate and Stoof have not disclosed the location in Wyoming Stoof found and retrieved the treasure chest. Only a national park subchapter S. Explain.
Okay, so this is huge. Those of you that first thought the Supra didn't apply, nobody's ever referenced the Supra. Forrest Fenn's estate just referenced the Supra that says we have been and still are mindful of the liability per the Supra. The Supra is only, it is a subchapter S of the National Parks regulations.
Which means, sorry, go ahead.
We are going to actually veer from the official document for the next few slides because I want you to see, I actually pulled this up, the 54 USCA 100721, that is going to show that it is under federal land, but it's specifically to a national park and Yellowstone National. So let's go into that because we're going one step at a time to ensure the logic train follows.
Okay, Sassy says, K-Pro, if the feds succeed in this probate case, it will set a precedent for other jurisdictions and will make it much harder in any future case.
I agree that this one is Yellowstone, but if Yellowstone is successful in a probate hearing to censor locations of contests and sweepstakes and other things of all searchers and all participants, it will set a significant precedence for if it's found on state land, park land, municipal land, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so now you're going to the regulations. It's not in the motion.
Actually, Holy. Yes. So now we're going to go away from the motion, and I looked up Title 54.
That's true.
Now,
We said it.
Title 54 goes over both National Park Service and related programs or entities. Sorry to use that word. So 1007 is under the National Park System. So it has to be a national park that we're talking about. Go to the next.
So in Wyoming, we've just narrowed it down legally to a national park in Wyoming.
Right. And so let's look at their other related programs and see if 1007 that they reference is in there. Oh, the other related areas start in the 2000s. So it specifically excludes anything when they are referencing this as a legal reference of regulations. It
Resource
specifically goes to national parks. So now we've gone from Department of Interior to specifically national parks in Wyoming.
Okay, Pro. Is that the same Chapter S that Fenn talked about in your interview with him?
In my opinion, this is more breaking news than anything. Let's go back one slide, please.
Okay. She said it.
Oh no, it'll be one, maybe one more. It actually says subchapter S. So,
Oh, okay.
oh,
Wait.
look, subchapter 2, System Unit Resource Act, subchapter S.
Maybe. Don't know. We'd have to rewatch that part of the interview, but
yeah. Okay.
All right. From the regulations, not the motion.
We've already read this before, so any of you that want to see what the Resource Act says, it basically says they can hold a third party accountable, but they have to use due care. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Here is, now let's go back to the final part of the Fenn's estate response to the government's motion. I think they're saying it again just to make sure that we know it was in Yellowstone.
Number 12, the motion and declaration of Chief Ranger Sarah Davis detail the concerns related to damage to public lands within her jurisdiction, and those concerns will not be repeated here. However, the estate, and upon information and belief, Mr. Stoof, share the government's concerns. Wherefore, the estate requests that the court grant the government's motion and fashion the appropriate protective order under these circumstances.
So, Sarah Davis is the Chief Ranger of Yellowstone National Park. Her jurisdiction is Yellowstone National Park. I don't know how much he can say, hey, everybody, it's found in Yellowstone National Park, but he said it 2 different ways right there.
There it is. In your face. Oh, sorry. Okay. Exhibit A. Ooh, now we get into exhibits. Thumbs up for exhibits, everybody.
So the exhibit is where he referenced before, and we already know that the evidence that Jamie is getting, he's putting out, and that is the commercial use for Jack. Look what he has done so far. And this was the response. Huge shout out to Cynthia Meacham. Cynthia said, will you post some of the information? And he posted this. That now has done harm to Jack. That's what he was saying earlier, because this is commercial use. Jack could have sold those pictures and this email. Now he can't because Jamie already put it out. And this is the evidence. This is from, he is watching Harry's forum. Okay, focus, honey.
I'm handling something. All right. Forrest, and this is just
No. We've already gone over this before. This is what Harry posted of the email that Jack sent to Forrest when he found it. Do the next 3 or 4. But here's the thing. This validates this is not a made-up document.
Of course. I mean, how could anybody think this is made up? But anyway.
I don't know.
I understand what you're saying. So the estate of Forrest Fenn has included these in their motion. Their motion.
To say we gave him evidence and now he's sharing it for commercial use rather than using it for his court case, Judge. It validates these pictures are valid and true.
All right. Gold. Thompson, motion to intervene. Lawyer Greg.
Lawyer Greg. Are we going to call him that from now on? That's better than that, Greg. Lawyer Greg. Okay, Lawyer Greg. I say Brutal Tooth Greg because that's what we know him as.
Give me 1 second.
I don't even want to look at my phone.
Give them an inch and they take a mile. Okay. Gregory A. Thompson. Give me 1 second, guys.
And I will give, I'm seeing my emails blowing up right now with, have you considered this or that or the other? I have not, and I will look at those right after. I'm not going to look at those right in the middle because we're trying to get as much of the valid information out as possible, because I will tell you, this intervene and then the response to it is super interesting, and it's going to lay the foundation of how our week's going to go. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
It's from lawyer Greg. Comes now Gregory A. Thompson and respectively seeks to intervene as interested party in this action for the limited purpose of seeking his 9 clues from the book. In support of its motion, states as follows. The 9 clues from the book. That's interesting.
I just got an email. Our new package is in. Oh, we're gonna have a good show on Monday.
At
Okay.
the UPS store?
Yes.
I could go get it right now. I know they could probably close. Okay. All right. Anyway,
Oh,
good
you
show.
gotta get it. You gotta get it in the morning. You gotta get it in the morning. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. I can. I can. If not, I'll get it Monday morning. Okay. Upon information and belief, this litigation seeks to resolve, in whole or in part, matters related to certain valuable objects hidden by decedent Forrest Fenn and efforts of certain individuals to find or claim the treasure. Certain information regarding the search for and discovery of the Fenn treasure has previously been publicly disclosed, including the discovery of the Fenn treasure by interested party Jack Stoof. It's interesting to me that he uses the term 9 clues from the book. He's seeking to know what the 9 clues were from the poem. Right?
And I don't think this is new information. Greg has said all along with the bits that I know, I bought the book. Forrest said the solution would come out. I think I'm entitled to the answer, the 9 clues and the solution. So I think that's his position. I don't know if I agree with it because I don't think there is anything explicitly said that you're going to get them in the book. But that's his position, and it's an interesting one.
So this is interesting, the Greg's reasoning here. Number 3, upon information and belief, Mr. Stoof is not saying giving his 9 clues of the location of Fenn's chest, 9 clues, which is improper. And Mr. Thompson paid for the thrill of the chase. Number 4, Thompson paid for his book and did not receive his goods, 9 clues, location in good faith, specific information regarding the location where Stoof found the Forrest Fenn treasure box on or about June 6, 2020 is still up for debate. Evidence, as Thompson holds some valuable recordings that might or could be damaging to this case and the location that Stoof claims he found it, but will not discredit Stoof if he really found it. I just think it's interesting that Greg thinks he is owed the solution and the 9 clues because he bought the thrill of the chase. What do you think about that, K-Pro?
I'm going to be really clear here. I believe that it is a sad state of our entire court system that a lot of these court cases and positions have come to reveal Jack Stoof's name and to reveal all the emails between Forrest and Jack. Can we blame Greg at this point when you see McCracken getting what McCracken got, the other court cases getting what they got? Not to say that his is as valid as everyone else's that has not. I mean, in one of the cases, there was a crazy stalker that was hacking into emails. And that's how we got Jack's name, but that's not even discussed anymore. So I think it's sad that our court system allows some of this, but I do believe, is Greg's claim any less meritable than McCracken's? He's saying, I bought the book, I deserve an answer. McCracken is saying, Forrest is sexually assaulting a woman and still alive. Which one's more outlandish?
We don't get into that garbage. But what I will say is,
what I'm saying is McCracken's is still in court based on an outlandish claim. Greg, I can see his point. I don't know whether I agree with it, but it's not outlandish what he's saying. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Legally, I understand what you're saying, and this is my response to Greg. In a legal sense, nowhere in the thrill of the chase does it say the solution will be given out. Nowhere does it say, and when this treasure chest is found, I will give you the solution, or you will know the location. It doesn't say that in the thrill of the chase. It does not say that in the book.
It doesn't say that in the thrill of the chase, right. But we have Forrest on recording saying, when you guys hear the location and the final location, you're going to say, why didn't I think of that? It was so simple. We have Forrest in his own words.
And then in my opinion, Greg should have cited those videos.
That's true.
Greg should have put that in this motion that he put in. You can't just say, I bought the thrill of the chase, because the judge is going to go, well, where does it say that in the thrill of the chase?
Right.
And it doesn't say
I do agree with you there. It would have helped a little bit more for him to actually put in Forrest's own voice where he says it's going to come out.
Right. And that whole video part we still need to talk about. But anyway, also the other thing is, does Forrest have a right to change his mind? If there's a video where Forrest says, wait till you hear the solution, and then a couple years later he says, well, you know what? I'm going to leave it up to the finder. where's the legality in that? Does Forrest have the right to change his mind and say, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to leave it up to the finder.
And that's where I mean what Greg has submitted is a reasonable claim in my mind to say, yeah, where does that fall legally? Forrest is still alive, and some of the stuff. McCracken is alive and well, going to court with what I believe is a pretty outlandish claim. Greg's is at least based on some merit, in my opinion.
Right.
And so, do I blame Greg for doing this?
Right.
A year ago, I would have said something very different. Now I go, why the hell not? I
think, and I hate to say that I'm going to say somebody should have sued, but I think somebody should have filed something right when it was found in 2020 to say, hey, I'm deserved a solution. Not, I thought it was over here. Not, you stole my solution. Not all the other craziness. Just simply, hey, publisher of the Forrest Fenn and the publisher of the Thrill of the Chase, you owe me a solution. If this was a contest, where's the solution to that contest? Like legally,
I think it's new ground. I don't think it's happened so much. So it's new ground.
Like, I think it was Eric said.
Yeah.
Is it a contest legally or is it not? Right. There's some legalities there, of course.
And that's when you have somebody like Tumble Bear Load going, I'm out. I just want to have some fun.
Exactly.
Put up Minotaur Marino's question, please.
I don't know much about how court lawyer fees work. Do you know if Harry's claim, if Harry's claim are dismissed, will he owe Jack and F's lawyers a bunch of money?
So there's two things. One, first he has to lose, and second he has to be. The Forrest estate has filed a counterclaim that says this is malicious abuse of the court system, and here is all of our hours we put into this. McCracken has claimed some of those are exaggerated in his opinion. So if he loses and loses appeal and is seen to be abusing the court system, those are two different things. The judge could say, I'm going to dismiss this, but there was enough merit here. I don't think he was just being frivolous. But if the judge says he was frivolous, he, much like Erskine, he will have the bill for the fees related to all the hours of this depositions, all the hours of preparing in court, all of that.
Okay, let's get back to it. Number 5. The location described as the area where the Fenn treasure was found is public land, and all treasure seekers should have the right to know the location and 9 clues. As searchers have bought the books in good faith, know that they will get the 9 clues location and have every right in this matter for services of goods. I understand what he's saying, even though I think the wording's a little off, but and that's a legal question. That is the question. Do searchers have a legal right to know the location and the answer to the 9 clues? I don't know.
Do you believe at least that is, in my opinion, that is an interesting position that I think lawyer Greg is making. This is an interesting new ground. Now, whether it should be in the probate court or not, that's another interesting point. And you're going to see the estate's response in a minute. So I believe, but you got to look at this and say, at least this is, I think there's not a lot of precedence, and a lot of searchers did hear Forrest say, you will hear the solution. He changed it at the last minute, I think because of Supra. And Jack and Forrest I think if Jack and Forrest would have said, my opinion, guys, there is some new legal situations that we were not aware of when this started. We're not going to put out the location. I would have swallowed that pill a lot easier than Jack saying, what, searchers just want it handed to them? So I know that Jack gets some vindication through this, that he did have some legal reasons, but how he dealt with it and how Forrest dealt with it before his passing, good grief, good Lord, no. Okay.
Number 6, to not give Thompson the 9 clues location would be like not giving the winning lottery ticket numbers to the public and only saying who the winner is. Thompson paid for goods, knowing in the future after it was found, he would get his 9 clues and location of the chest to confirm that this spot is the correct spot and lines up with the poem and the hidden pictures in the book, The Thrill of the Chase. But none of that is in the book. The difference with the problem with the lottery analogy is all that is spelled out in the rules and regulations of the lottery.
You're going to see Forrest Estate's response, and they don't even talk about that. They're talking about all the other things, which I just find fascinating.
To not give the community the closure it needs for the 9 clues location could bring more damage than good for the future, as Thompson believes and feels more deaths might happen for searchers still trying to find the location or believing in their own solved location due to no proven facts of the precise location of the Fenn treasure or 9 clues. I kind of agree with that one. There could be more issues.
I know, and I wish that was its own standalone because he did kind of a compound paragraph. I would have put that as its own standalone. Kind of what McCracken's saying. You're actually going to expose more areas and more searchers. If it's 9 Mile Hole, then you can just put some precautions at 9 Mile Hole. So.
And number 7. Thompson asked the court for his 9 clues location so he can compare it to his findings from the book that hold hidden images and to see if the 9 clues match up to the poem. I'll be right back. If you want to read it.
I will read number 8. We got lots of stuff going on. I'm sorry, guys. Thompson's limited sole purpose in seeking to intervene is to seek an order from the court asking to disclose the 9 clues / location due to Thompson not getting his goods from the purchase of the book. Also, Thompson will release the recordings if this court asks of them. These recordings, you guys are killing me. No more emails right now. You're distracting me. Also, Thompson will release the recordings if the court asks for them. These recordings can't be taken lightly on what could have been the involvement of several people seen in Michigan in summer of 2020. I believe, because I have some limited interaction with Greg, that those are recordings that he believes Douglas Preston was involved. I don't understand what evidence he has and why he hasn't put that out before. Everybody's been kind of hoarding information, and I think he's maybe giving the family time. I'm not sure, but he's saying he has these recordings. I've seen little bits and pieces, and I don't understand it. But he's saying he'll give that to the court.
All I can say to all that is, lawyer Greg, maybe conspiracy theory Greg. Okay, respectfully submitted, Gregory A. Thompson. So interesting points. I think Greg did that on behalf of searchers saying, hey, we deserve to know the solution.
Right. And he's finally saying, and I have some evidence. Do you want me to submit it to you? Bring up Denise Bagley. She hasn't been around a while. I'm asking you to thumbs up, please.
In my opinion, we should all pay someone for all this great entertainment. I haven't been following until recently. I'm having a great time. Thanks, K-Pro Mike. Hey, Denise, and thank you. And yes, everybody, thumbs up. We've only got 16 thumbs up. Come on, guys. All right. K-Pro, I told Greg his recordings will not be permissible in court.
And based on what? I don't know what the recordings are, so I don't know. Does he have Douglas, Michigan with Jax sipping margarita? I don't know what they are, so I haven't been following enough.
Well, Sassy says the trial is going to be a joke. Is it a trial? Yeah, I guess probate case. A ton of objections for hearsay and relevance and hardly any testimony. But the depositions are, in fact, testimony, right?
I'm going to go into that in another couple slides of what's a deposition and what actually gets into court. So let's just wait.
Wait. And now the estate, this is the Forrest Fenn estate's response to the motion to intervene by lawyer Greg.
So let's be clear. This is the estate. So this is Summer. Carl, you guys know him as Carl. Carl's response to Greg the lawyer's motion to intervene.
You guys.
This was on Friday, I think it was Thursday night, Greg put his motion to intervene in, and Summer, the estate, responded on Friday. So
comes now Zoe Old. She's got to be saying again. What the?
Okay, I just say one
thing. Like, what the heck is all this?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you imagine the hearing? I love you, Greg, but can you imagine the hearing and Greg walk in with his painted face and saying, yes or no?
Yes or no. And they'd be like, isn't that true? Yes or no? Isn't that true? Yes or no?
It would be, the funny ending to the funny ending. But I do have to say, this is, in my opinion, and Greg and I have not always seen eye to eye. I don't think we ever will, and we don't need to. That was a very coherent and somewhat logical, a lot more logical than McCracken's claim. So again, I'm going to give some credit for here.
I personally would have cited every video where Forrest said, "Wait to hear the solution. I'll give the solution," but all those things. But anyway,
right.
Maybe he didn't have time. You never know. Okay, so this now comes Zoe Old again. She's got to be sick of this. I feel sorry that her and the family's got to go through all this, but it is what it is. Thompson's motion should be denied for the following reasons. Number one, this particular rule provides in pertinent part as follows: intervention of right. Upon timely application, anyone shall be permitted to intervene in an action. And then it goes into it. But I guess they're saying he does not do it in the time, or
Right. So if you go into the next slide, he actually goes into, normally you have 1 year. This is actually based on a 4-month process. But can we read it, please? I know I don't understand all of it, but I think it's important to read it and make sure that we're at least, because we do have some lawyers that will, yeah, go ahead.
Intervention of right. Upon timely application, anyone shall be permitted to intervene in an action. Remember, everybody, anyone. I know a lot of people are saying, well, why did Greg do it? Because anyone is allowed to do it. Okay.
Greg did it
if
because
they meet a couple things, which are these. This is when anyone can intervene of intervention of right. When a statute confers an unconditional right to intervene, or when the applicant claims an interest relating to the property or transaction, which is the subject of the action, and the applicant is so situated that the disposition of the action may be, as a practical matter, impair or impede the applicant's ability to protect that interest, unless the applicant's interest is adequately represented by existing parties. Okay. B, permissive intervention. Upon timely application, anyone may be permitted to intervene in an action. Isn't this the same thing or no? Oh, okay. When the statute confers a conditional right to intervene, or an applicant's claim or defense and the main action have a question of law or fact in common. When a party to an action relies for ground of claim or defense upon any statute or executive order administered by a federal or state governmental officer or agency, or upon any regulation, order, requirement, or agreement issued or made pursuant to the statute or executive order, the officer or agency may, upon timely application, may be permitted to intervene in this action. We didn't have to read that, I don't think, but that's okay.
Well, and that's why I don't have any red circles. I know there's a reason that this is in here. I don't understand it. So if somebody could help interpret this.
Well, this is saying when somebody's allowed to intervene, isn't that right?
Right. And so it's when they, okay, so just keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Number two, even assuming, and this is again the estate of Forrest Fenn, why they're saying Greg's motion should not be allowed in. Even assuming the motion otherwise stated a legitimate ground for intervention, which it does not, the motion is not timely filed. The New Mexico Uniform Probate Code provides claimants against the estate of a deceased person with clear avenues and unambiguous timeframes for prosecution of claims. The UPC provides that all claims against an estate must be brought no later than 1 year following the death of the decedent. The UPC allows an estate to shorten the 1 year statute of limitations to 4 months following the first publication of a notice to creditors. But if that's the case, then how can the Department of Interior file a motion? It's after
that is such a good, and that is one of McCracken's claims. Right. Now, they are not trying to go against probate and the estate. They are just trying to say in general, this shouldn't come out. But one of McCracken's claims is it was not timely. It should have been filed at the time. Okay. I don't want this to become emotional with people, but I do want to say something. A Whisper says what Greg did was stupid. He will be bankrupt in the end. It's a shame. He has no clue. I believe he genuinely wants the solution for the entire community, but also for himself. There are people that I don't necessarily agree with their ways, but I agree with their intent. I believe his intent is to try to get the 9 clues. I don't know if it was stupid. Is this just going to be bounced quickly? He did do something. Mike and I always say, him and I like each other when we work in like the storage auctions, because we do it. You got to give Greg some credit. He actually did it.
I'll have a Beacon Star comment at the end of the program, Randy. You might want to listen up, but that's at the end. Okay. Okay, which it does not. The motion is not timely filed. And that's a good question.
He's well after. The judge may look at this and just say, based on time barring alone, boom, done.
But I think in my limited legal opinion that because the Department of Interior filed their motion, that's why Greg's motion, because it's in reference to the motion that was filed. It's not in reference to the original probate case. So maybe that's why maybe the judge could allow it. It's a different
I
motion.
believe it will be bounced based on this alone. In my opinion, it will be based on time bar. You're out. Because this could go on forever. Then people could wait until the end of 30 days before a hearing, and this could go on for years and years and years.
But here's the thing. Okay. Let me read this. Number 3, the estate published its notice to creditors for the first time on October 28th, 2020. The 4-month period for the presentation of claims expired on March 1, 2021. Note, the 4-month period expired on February 28th, 2021, which was a Sunday. Therefore, Thompson's motion is not timely filed, and any claims Thompson may have had for any relief against the estate is time barred. But he's not trying to get any relief against the estate. It's just he wants Jack to give out the solution. That has nothing to do with the estate.
And that's where they'll go into in a second. If he wants to go to another court, fine, but this probate hearing is not the right place to do it. So, yes.
It seems to me that if that's the case for this, it should be the case for the Department of Interior motion too, from a legal perspective. But that's just my opinion. Yeah. Number 4, the motion fails to meet the criteria for an intervention as a matter of right or for a permissive intervention under this rule. Number 5. Yeah, number 5. With respect to an intervention of right, Thompson does not even allege, much less demonstrate, that he claims an interest relating to the property or transaction, which is the subject of the action, and the applicant is so situated that the disposition of the action may, as a practical matter, impair or impede the applicant's ability to protect that interest. In other words, there's nothing in the Forrest Fenn estate that he's trying to put a claim to, right?
Except for the video that they just recognize they have. I would agree with him.
When did you get to that? The video?
Oh, you'll see it in a few minutes.
Okay.
Yes, there's so what he's saying here is we don't have the treasure chest, so we're done. This isn't a part of our property, so it should not be a part of this. Except Zoe just confirmed there was a video with the 9 clues in it. Because of that, now if it is permitted in court, not under the joint defense agreement, he's saying here, without even knowing he's saying it here, that's what I want to see. Now, if it's under the joint defense agreement,
we haven't got to that part yet, right?
No, we haven't.
Not a video yet.
Too much.
Don't bring it up until we get to, I don't know what you're talking about.
Which one am I supposed to put first? Come on.
Devil's advocate. I'm devil's advocate. Number 6, likewise, with respect to a permissive intervention, Thompson utterly fails to demonstrate that his claim for information and the main action have a question of law or fact in common. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. So someone help me. All right.
Yeah. Number 7, while mostly unintelligible, the motion asserts that Thompson has the right to know the location of the treasure and 9 clues. As searchers have bought the books in good faith, they will get the 9 clues location and have every right in this matter for services of goods. The estate understands this statement to mean that because Thompson purchased Forrest Fenn's memoir, The Thrill of the Chase, Thompson has the right to intervene or should be allowed to intervene to obtain an order from the court asking to disclose the 9 clues locations, i.e., an order compelling the solution to Forrest Fenn's famed poem and requiring confirmation of the location in Wyoming where Mr. Jonathan Jack Stu found and retrieved the treasure chest hidden by Forrest Fenn sometime in 2010. Right?
Which
Number
I
8.
agree with in general, but I'm going to go back to McCracken's in court saying that Forrest is still alive. And Greg is saying, was there a contract when we bought this book and exuded our own resources to actually get the solution? Which one's more reasonable in your mind? And A Whisperer is saying, like, there was no contract. That, I think, somewhat could be debated, even if it's a little bit. Forrest still alive and holding some woman hostage.
And that's what I meant by the ridiculousness. There should be a lawsuit. I hate to say it, but if somebody was so inclined, they should file a lawsuit against the estate of Forrest Fenn claiming a right to know the solution. That's it. I purchased a book. This was a contract. Here's the videos.
You had to do it in 4 months or it's done. You had to do it in 4 months.
Why? What statute of limitations is there about the solution to the treasure hunt?
There is a statute
it has nothing to do with the treasure chest. Go ahead.
There is a statute of limitations for anyone who dies.
Okay.
It is typically 1 year. For my mother, it was 1 year. They went through the legal hurdles to say after 4 months, it can't be 10 years from now. It can't even be 4 months and 2 days. It is past the time and the estate is going to settle.
But it's not about the estate. It has nothing to do with the estate.
You just said the Forrest Fenn estate. You can go after Jack.
No. Because Forrest Fenn's estate is what's allowed. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Or the publisher of the book. Who published the book? One Land and Cattle, or whatever it was called, right? Somebody could go after the publisher.
Forrest's estate. It was Forrest. Forrest owned one horse title.
Well, then you messed up, everybody. You waited too long. But in my opinion, instead of doing it in this probate case, somebody should have just filed a thing saying, you owe us the solution. And here's why. This was a contract. This was a contest, and we're owed the solution. Now, could you sue Jack? I don't know. I don't know about that.
I think the only one you can sue is Jack. You have Forrest, who has died, and you have Jack, who knows. The only person you can sue is Jack, and there's no statute of limitations yet. I don't know what it is, but it's not 4 months or a year. Okay. Forrest never promised the solution. He did say he was going to put out the solution, and he changed it due to the Supra. Oh, just wait. We have more coming. We have more.
All right. I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on YouTube. Or no, I should say I read cases on YouTube. Okay, number 8. This case involves petition.
Stop. Put it up.
Oh, I
no,
see.
but put it up. Yeah, there you go.
Number 8. This case involves petitioner Jamie McCracken claims of unilateral contract and fraud. And there it is. It's that word contract is legally important. McCracken's petition for allowance of claim for breach of contract and estipel. I don't know what estipel is. McCracken claims he deciphered Forrest Fenn's poem, discovered the location of the treasure chest in 2014 in New Mexico, but did not retrieve it. And that for more than 6 years afterward, Fenn continually moved the treasure chest to prevent McCracken from finding and retrieving the treasure chest.
Now, go back one. Mm-hmm. Do you find it odd, interesting, or do you have any thoughts on this is their response to Greg's claim? Why are they bringing up McCracken here? Soak on that.
Because I think
go ahead. Good. No, go ahead.
Because I think the whole legal question comes down to, was the Thrill of the Chase and the poem a contract? And nothing's legally owed if there was no contract, right? I think that's why. Was there a contract between McCracken and the estate of Forrest Fenn about the solution? Is there a contract between Greg's motion saying, hey, you owe me a solution? If there's no contract,
I think it's actually in number 9. Cloudy Storm, I want to answer that at the end. I don't understand how McCracken got the emails between Forrest and Jack. He got all the emails, and except those under the JDA. I'm going to give my opinion on that at the end.
Please, just give him a refund for the book. The problem is then you can give every searcher a refund. You know what I mean? It's either even for everybody or it's not. So,
and that money didn't go to Forrest. That money went to the bookstore and went to a cancer fund.
So here's a question, K-Pro. Maybe you have the answer. Cloudy Storm says, I don't understand how McCracken got the emails between Forrest and Jack. So he asked for them in a motion, and
the motion to compel, and I just said this about 15 seconds ago. I said, Cloudy Storm, I'm going to answer that at the end of this.
Oh, I didn't hear that. All right.
Honey, schmoopsy bear.
So we talk about the contract right here. Okay, was there a contract? I think it all comes down to, was there a contract or not, legally speaking? Forrest was a handshake kind of guy. Well, I don't think a handshake can be enforced.
Well, but I think...
I could be wrong.
Okay, I'm not going to I don't think Forrest was an evil predator, all of those things that some people say. I think he administered this treasure hunt. He managed this treasure hunt in a very, very poor manner. What contract did he make? He interacted. I have seen some flat out hints and clues he's given to some and not others, etc. So what kind of contract? I actually think this might be a good precedence to set when people in the future, we have people who died, we have people who gave up their lives, and people that gave up their families and their children, etc. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to say, hey, rich guys, you just can't mess with people. He did. There was some things that he did, whether it was his own faults or own non-perfect man that he was. I think he ran a very bad treasure hunt. I think he had a great treasure hunt, and there were parts of it that he did not manage well.
You're talking about Randy, right? Hey, Randy has a question. I'll talk about that at the end, Randy, if you're around. Okay, let's get back to it. We only have 84 more slides to go, everybody. Okay.
That's not true.
But if we're going to talk about if a video is mentioned in this, that's huge breaking news. So let's see. I have not read any of this before right now. So Did we reread this one, right, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, this is about the contract, and I think it's important.
So
that
he's
there's-
bringing up McCracken saying there's a contract in Greg's response. That's important, in my opinion.
Number 9, the estate has counterclaimed against McCracken for malicious abuse of process. See estate's answer and counterclaim. Number 10, Thompson's assertion of a right to information concerning the solution to Mr. Fenn's poem and the location where the treasure chest was found have nothing whatever to do with the subject matter of either the petition or the counterclaim. In other words, probate court is not the place for his motion.
Well, number 9 is saying, hey, we filed against McCracken. If we get a lot of these frivolous things, we can file against, should the Fenn estate have to, is this abuse of the system?
Malicious abuse of process.
Right.
Number 11, finally, the motion is not accompanied by a pleading set forth the claim or defense for which intervention is sought. Wherefore, the estate requests that the motion be denied.
And I didn't put all the stamps and the page numbers and stuff.
This is breaking news. I didn't know Zoe did the deposition. And you know what was in the deposition?
Where?
No, I didn't. Somebody didn't tell me. If only I had a partner in all this. And I didn't. I don't. Maybe I spaced.
You son of a gun.
I'll be right back.
You son of a gun. Yeah, he better go away. I try to tell him so many things, and we even see this here, just like he does on Beacon Star. Oh, we got the 10th location. And I'm like, whatever. I don't understand. This son of a gun. No, I told him. And I only get so many words before his eyes gloss over, just like me in the big block of text, or me in the where's my Beacon Star shirt. I told him, but yes. And I even sent him this early and said, review it. So we love him. We're not going to use this against him, especially in the court of law. We are just going to say, no, Mike, you're wrong. You knew this and you do have a partner. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Are there any questions as you guys? I don't know if there's a kid issue or a work issue or what. K-Pro, this justifies you buying your dream Mustang. Tell him you told him. Packer Jack, I love that comment. Okay.
Sorry about that. That was 1-800-lawyer. They gave me a call. They said, shut it down because you're, no, sorry. Okay. So apparently there was a deposition. That's crazy. All right, here we go. Who else didn't know about this deposition?
Mike.
What?
I told you about the deposition. Just keep it. Okay, please bring it up.
The day of, I would have appreciated. Hey, remember? You really? I don't know. You can't prove it in a court of law. All right, here we go. Define it. Oh, I thought this was the action. All right, this is just
okay, guys. Here's the first thing that I did. I did some research about a week ago on what happens in a deposition. I have a couple of slides on that, and then we actually have some detailed information. Zoe's deposition happened on Thursday, and Jack's deposition is coming up.
Hey, deposition, court report. Okay,
this is my summary, so hold on.
Okay.
So who is in a deposition? There is going to be a court reporter that is going to, this is actually done via Zoom. Each lawyer on each side. So it's McCracken and Summer. And if Zoe wants to sit in, she can sit in. She has the right to sit in. If there's any intervener, they have the right to sit in too. It is not a part of the official court record. The transcript is not submitted into court. You have to remember the deposition is for the lawyers to prepare for what they want to be in court. If there's a 4-hour deposition, the judge doesn't want to waste their time. There might be only 6 different particular comments that they will submit later. Each side has questions, and usually if it's a 4-hour deposition, each side gets 2 hours. For Jack's deposition, it's 4 hours, and each side will get 2 hours. Again, it's not public. And the motion to intervener will be a part of it if it's granted. The deposition ensures each side has all the information that they need for preparation for trial. This is going to trial. Okay, next slide. This is just I didn't know any of this. People asked me, and so that's what so the person is under oath. The questions must have a direct bearing on the case. They are required to answer, but nothing more. If they are asked, did you have a search partner? They don't need to answer yes, and his name was this, and they just need to answer yes, but they do need to be responsive to the questions. Both attorneys, a court reporter, and people being sued. Okay, that's a repeat. You can assert the Fifth Amendment at certain times. A witness must have reasonable cause to apprehend a real danger of incrimination. The general rule is if you plead the Fifth, you cannot change your answer later when you are in court. So if you plead the Fifth, whether in writing or in the deposition, you may be struck within your answer once you actually get to court. So it's very important when you plead the Fifth, what you are really committing yourself to do. You have the right to refuse any questions about your health, your sexuality, or your religious beliefs, and anything pertinent to the case and the case jurisdiction. That's going to be important, in my opinion, or it's considered off topic and it can be objected to. We're going to go from high level, what can be objected to, and then we're going to talk about Zoe's deposition. Deposition. This information is submitted to the court. If statements vary later, so what they say in the deposition is under oath. So if they try to say something later when they're asked it in court, they can actually pull the file and say, this is not what you said in the deposition. If the intervener is in the deposition, like the government, they can actually object on their own behalf. They are representing themselves. Whenever necessary, the defending attorney and both attorneys basically sit down and talk and say, these are the things, let's not waste each other's time. I'm going to object to anything that 9 clues, etc. Don't even ask them, because then we'll just spin our wheels this whole time, and let's not do that. Okay. So you can object. Mike has been watching the Johnny Depp case, and there's been lots of objections to compound question, objection to speculation, objection to asked and answered. So you can't repeat questions. This is just more informational. There's a set of objections that have already come up in the case that I want to talk about, but I've highlighted those in red. So these are for those of you that want to know about what are all the different ways a lawyer can object. Next slide. So relevancy, if they bring up something that is off topic, subjective, or reasonably leads to the discovery of admissible evidence. So if they bring up something, if Jamie brings up something that is off topic to the probate case, the relevancy question could be put on the table. I don't know if it will be, but it could be put on the table. And that's why Wednesday is so important.
And I'll just take a brief time out to say thumbs up for K-Pro finding all those definitions for all of us, because that's some boring stuff. But okay.
I'm trying just to understand what's happening.
Right. She's trying to help you answer your questions that you don't even know you're going to ask yet. So yeah, thumbs up, if anything, for K-Pro and her PowerPoint. Privilege.
This one has actually come up. So it's usually when the lawyer will actually say, I advise you not to answer. There is, if you do not have to testify against your spouse, even though you know that he killed someone or did something terrible, you do not have to testify against him or her. Attorney-client privilege, anything that's under the joint defense. And we're going to see that the attorney-client privilege, the joint defense agreement objection came up during Zoe's deposition. The other one is the Fifth Amendment you can object to if you are self-incriminating yourself. So Jack, because he did break the law when he did recover the treasure chest, if someone asked, did you use a metal detector? I plead the Fifth. Did you return it to the superintendent? I plead the Fifth. And any of the arrangements that he made or plea deals that he made can be, with Yellowstone, can be held under the Fifth Amendment. So many people think that this Wednesday court hearing is, if the judge says to Jack, no, you can say it, he can still plead the Fifth or plead attorney-client privilege under this commercial act as well. Now, whether he does or doesn't, I don't know, but we know that the attorney-client privilege already came up during Zoe's deposition.
He can't be compelled to give it because he can plead the Fifth, right?
Only in certain cases, and that's with self-incriminating, and that's where I believe he would go. That's why I highlighted it.
Zoe's deposition, not public, but posted by McCracken just after the deposition completed. Now, will it ever become public? Will any of us ever be able to watch Zoe's deposition? Do you know, K-Bro?
You will not be able to watch, but the transcript can be put in the court document during the hearing.
Part of the
So
public
Jamie
record.
could, and then it becomes a part of the public record. So Jamie could say, I would like to put the entire transcript of Zoe's deposition in. I don't know if that would be objected to, but there might be certain parts that he puts in, much like the Johnny Depp case, where there's certain pieces that you want in. They could read them, and then Johnny Depp goes, yes, you're reading really well. You know, Zoe could say, yes, you're reading really well. I don't know what it'll look like. I just don't have enough experience, but I know enough to put this together.
I heard she was blinking Morse code through the whole deposition. Is that true, K-Bro?
That is not true. You're a liar.
I'm thinking of Randy's video. I'm sorry.
So what you're going to see is there's 5 points or 6 points that Jamie, after the Zoe deposition, put up on Harry's. Here's what just happened.
So I'm calling it breaking news because I didn't know that this was out. I didn't know McCracken posted it. And anybody out there who didn't know either, thumbs up. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be right back. You read the first one. I'll be back in a second. I need to go potty.
Oh, let's say the head. I need to change your mind. I still have the echo for some reason. Zoe deposition April 28th. So this just happened Thursday of last week, guys. Talk about breaking news. Breaking. It just happened Thursday last week. This is according to McCracken on Harry's. He posted it because he was able to view it. I don't know. You know, it's a good question. I don't know if he was. Yeah. Of course he asked questions. I think he was the one asking her the questions. K-Pro can clarify that. Okay, number 1. She admitted the pics of the chest were true on 5th June 2020. This is important for me. Yeah, this is McCracken talking. This is important for me because in early June, the soil conditions are exactly like the one at my spot in New Mexico. Bone dry and flaky. Somebody's nickname in high school. In early June in New Mexico, humidity is really low. Rain is rare. Temps are very hot. And it's fire season because everything is so bone dry in the forest. It's the exact opposite for Wyoming, where soil usually has some moisture from melting snow, and there are certainly no fire conditions caused by a bone dry forest. Recent weather systems would have given Wyoming plenty of rain on day before the find. It's a big win for me on that one. This is McCracken actually asking Zoe these questions, correct?
Correct. But I actually think this one he's interpreting incorrectly. Right. So Zoe admitted the pictures were from June 5th. I believe her answer was, these are the emails that were received from June 5th from Jack. She's not saying, I know when he discovered it. I think she's answering technically his question, which was, so I think he's taking it. I actually agree with his result, but I don't think it's because of Zoe. I believe it was recovered in 2019 found in 2019. So I believe what he's saying is right, but it's not because of Zoe's deposition that we think it's right, if that makes sense.
Yes, I hear you. Adeline Hines says, can my soon-to-be fiance's account be unblocked? You got to email me on that one, Adeline, because I don't know who you mean, but email me at cowlazars@gmail.com. We'll see.
That is Tyler, I think. And I thought he was.
Oh, Tyler. He's not blocked, is he?
No, I don't remember nowadays.
Yeah, we'll unblock him for sure. Email me to make sure I don't forget. Yeah, I didn't realize he was blocked.
That's what I think I'm thinking. Yeah.
A Whisperer says, why can't these people leave the Fenn's family alone? Forrest is gone. They had nothing to do with all of this.
Okay. I'm going to say, A Whisperer, though I appreciate your thoughts. Why did you tell Greg a year ago that you had an email related to all of this, and then you decided not to? They're in a different time schedule, but all of us are having our own journey through this. So
that's Pam. I just realized who it is, right? Yeah, I just realized who it is.
Yeah, that's Pam. So Pam, Jolson, and Greg, you were on Greg's show for a long time. I got to call it like I see it here. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but so you're leave Forrest family alone. You didn't have an email that you discussed. Did you ever discuss it with Carl or Zoe? I think you said you did with both. Why didn't you leave them alone a year ago? Everybody's under a different path, and I'm not going to judge them. And I'm going through my own journey.
And I'll just say there's some people who believe they're owed the solution and the 9 clues. I believe I'm owed it, but I would never sue over it. But some people have filed a motion. So anyway, and A Whisperer says, Caper, how will that help? Well, let's not get into a back and forth. If you want to come on the show, I'm okay with it. But anyway, we'll talk about that another. Let's go back to Zoe's deposition, which is important here. So she admitted the pics of the chest were true on 5th June 2020. And I think that just means, yes, we did receive these pics in an email on June 5th, 2020. What you just said, right?
I don't think this one's as big, but there's a couple pieces that I think are pretty big.
But it's important for anybody who thinks the pictures were fake that Zoe is saying, no, they're real. I got them when Jack sent them, on that day, etc. Okay. Yeah. Number 2.
A Whisper, I don't know if your emails will help. We don't see them. Share them. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
That's number 2. They know nothing about the solve at all. Absolutely nothing. So you're telling me that Zoe does not know the solve.
I believe that Zoe does not want to see. Zoe has told me I don't know the solve. And I believe she's saying under oath in a deposition, I think she doesn't want to know the solve. And she admits about this video. I think she doesn't even want to see the video.
I think Forrest set it up that way on purpose. Yes. Plausible deniability. He did not want them to know the solve. I get it.
This is why I'm shocked that McCracken didn't call Shiloh. I think Shiloh knows. Right, Shiloh told me he's considering writing a book. What is he going to write a book about? Like, what he's going to write it about? I think Shiloh knows and Zoe doesn't. And why McCracken, get that deposition request in. I don't understand that.
Wait a minute. Did you see number 3? Well, first, number 2 is they know nothing about the solve at all. Absolutely nothing. But number 3 says Zoe only saw Jack once, and that was when he came to the house with the chest.
I believe this to be a misinterpretation. Now, this is only my opinion.
Right.
He said this. I believe it was during that time that he was coming down to Santa Fe with the chest. I don't think the chest ever made it to Forrest's home. But if she testified this would be big. I don't think it happened.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't think
we need the deposition to be made public, obviously. Number 4, she does not know why the emails fell off a cliff post-find between Jack and F. And again, plausible deniability, in my opinion.
JDA.
Joint defense agreement. Okay, gotcha. Number 5, I asked if there was a video of Forrest Fenn and got a client attorney privilege objection.
Boom.
There is a video, but they will not say what's in it because of that privilege. So hang on. McCracken is just verifying that they said there is a video, but they will not say what's in it because of that privilege. They confirmed they will not be showing it at my trial. It's not on their exhibit list and have made no decision whether to show it or not. I presume they may show it after all the legals have ended. I really like that because it means they will have to settle with me, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's breaking news. The attorney for Zoe Old just confirmed that there is a video of Forrest Fenn. Now, the problem is when he says, I asked, was there a video of Forrest Fenn? He doesn't actually say about the clues, but that's what we're talking about, right?
What is he talking about? Watering these trees? It has to be about the 9 clues. Okay, and I'm sorry, I am going to... Okay, understood. A Whisperer says, I think Forrest deserves to have his story told the way he wanted. Maybe the family is trying to honor this. That went out the door with the shit show that we have, in my opinion, Pam. I know this might not be perfect for anyone. I believe we're in a different situation with the situation that we have now. Forrest passed in the middle of it. There's some things that maybe they wanted to honor with Forrest. I don't agree with you. I actually am helping McCracken word some things correctly during this case because I believe it will help the family, and they are just trying to honor their father and grandfather who has passed. That day is gone. Forrest was, I think, a good person with intent in the beginning. I think he erred in some ways, so we need to negotiate what the best is right now. So I know what you're saying. I just don't agree with you. I think more would get resolution from seeing your email and seeing some of the other things than everybody keeps secret and then this continuously being this tension-filled disaster pot. Okay.
But Forrest did leave a video. That's what this just proves, actually. Now, we don't know what's in the video.
So those of you that said Capro and Cynthia are flat out liars about a video.
Should I play the vindication clip? No, I won't do it. Some people don't.
No, that upsets some people.
Okay. I asked if there was a video of Forrest Fenn and they got a client attorney.
Can you put it up, please?
Well, I went over this already. Gotcha.
Yes.
They have made no decision whether to show it or not. So that means they reserve the right to show it to the public, and hopefully at some point.
No, so the exhibit list is a list that is submitted to the courts that only those things on your list are you allowed to show in court. So this says, one, a video exists. We're not going to say what it is, but it's a video of Forrest Fenn. It's under privilege, under the joint defense agreement privilege. We're not going to show it in court, and we haven't decided if we're going to show it after court. That's what this says.
So Lucky Digger's got a good question. She says, I don't understand why there's a trial. My husband died and there were claims, but nothing close to a trial. Can you answer that?
Yes, I can. And actually that came up earlier. So the only way that this does not go to a hearing is if the Forrest Fenn estate does what they call a motion. Okay. A motion to dismiss. And they would submit the merits of the McCracken case says Forrest is still alive. Here's the death certificate. It says this, and this is how we respond. Without that, this goes to court. You have Forrest estate moving forward, and you have McCracken moving forward with his beliefs. If the Fenn estate does not ask for a dismissal, the judge doesn't dismiss it on their own behalf. I'm going to let you guys think about why you think the Forrest estate would not have filed a motion to dismiss. I have my own opinions, and I want to see what this week holds. I have some very strong opinions. So McCracken went with his case a year ago. There could have been a motion to dismiss based on the death certificate alone. But that didn't happen. Think about why. There are some things that I think a lot of people are missing.
I missed what you just said. Can you repeat that last part? Think about why?
The only way that McCracken has gotten this far is the Forrest estate has not filed a motion to dismiss. The only way the judge will dismiss it is with the Fenn estate saying, we would like you to look at the merits, should it even go this far. Forrest
I see what you're saying.
Did not file that. Why?
Not everybody can come up with their own. And email kpro3@aol.com what you think. Okay.
Or Cowlazars@gmail.com.
All right. And they have. People have. Okay. He thinks maybe they'll show it, which is great. It would be great for all of us. A video of Forrest going over the 9 clues. That's
I think only based on Wednesday. They've already said we're going to do what the federal government asks. I think Forrest could have been held. I think he did some things wrong. And I think they brokered a deal in August of 2020. So unless it's allowed. Okay, go ahead.
She's always confirmed Jack gave the bracelet back to Forrest Fenn for free. It is not part of the estate because Zoe is in possession of it. So whoever said that Forrest paid for it is wrong. Zoe, confirmed that Jack gave the bracelet back to Forrest Fenn for free, as Forrest always said he wanted it returned. It is not part of the estate because Zoe is in possession of it. Does that mean it was gifted to Zoe by Forrest? I mean, I can't give money to somebody and go, that's not part of my estate. Sorry.
So what I believe, so there's a huge nuance here. Mm-hmm. Zoe has said we're in possession of it and it's whoever's. It's not in the estate. My question is, did Forrest Fenn die with physical possession of the bracelet?
I think Zoe just confirmed yes. Zoe, if this could be believed, Zoe confirmed Jack gave the bracelet back to Forrest Fenn for free. Right?
I think he promised it, and it is with Zoe.
It is not part of the estate because Zoe is in possession of it. But wouldn't that mean that Forrest would, just like the treasure chest is not part of the estate because Forrest gifted it to Jack, Forrest would have had to have gifted the bracelet to Zoe?
Zoe, or I actually think Shiloh told us, when I'm only going by my Shiloh meeting, he said, it's mine. It just is missing a stone. I could go get it. No
Zoe
way.
gave it to Shiloh. I mean, right.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
Okay. And it's not a big deal. How do you just say it's not part of the estate?
Not a big deal, but it's important. Yeah. There's more.
Okay.
Jamie, please ask that question.
All right.
Physical possession, not ownership. Physical possession.
And then that's it for what McCracken posted about Zoe's deposition. But they confirmed there is a video and that they slammed down client attorney privilege on it. That's pretty interesting to me. And that is, in fact, breaking news, everybody. You don't have to like it. I'm going to play it anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. Stephanie 30 Acres said suicide will be public. I'm going to say I believe if there was suicide, that maybe it will be public in the hearing. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But Stephanie being here, I'm going to make one statement. I believe that Stephanie had quite a bit of documents and emails and things that actually Harry started his entire site against her and someone else. I believe Stephanie went through a journey like all of us. Forrest asked me at the meeting that I had in July of 2020, he said to me, can you forgive Stephanie? And there's a lot of gray area. I didn't know. He said some things that I won't get into, but I will say, I think Stephanie's been through a journey like many of us in this hunt. And I believe what she put forward in those emails, in my opinion, are not doctored. Her and Forrest had things, and then she went boots on the ground a lot, etc. That's what I mean by Forrest did not manage this hunt really well. I don't want to make that the basis, because I will say Stephanie is very different than anyone else that she has as moderator or a focus of her treasure hunt. I will tell you, Forrest asked me in July of 2020, can you just settle things? And I am in a better place and I am okay with Stephanie. He did give me some details of others that he's not. I don't want to start anything more than just saying, I believe there's a lot of gray area. And he always asks me, things are not as black and white as you think. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to get into too much more.
Okay. And then give me a second. And then I'll show that at the end as well. But if we go back to the PowerPoint, what is next, K-Pro?
This is going to be probably the biggest week post-chase or post June 6th, 2020. So Wednesday, the decision will come from the motion to intervene. The judge is going to decide, is the government Yellowstone going to be able to censor Jack or not? And I don't know if there's a gray area there. Are they going to say, well, this, but not that? Are they going to say, I grant the motion? I believe right now, I showed this to several lawyers, and every attorney said, I believe Jamie has a really good chance that the government's motion to intervene will not be granted.
But what that means is that McCracken is then allowed to ask Jack the question, but Jack could plead to the fifth if he wants to, right?
He can always plead that. Yeah.
Right.
So it won't be based on the government mandating it.
Right. It just means the government's motion may be denied. Friday is Jack's deposition. That's what.
No, I want no information from. I don't want anything. I just wanted to make one piece clear. Okay. Friday is Jack's deposition. No matter which way Wednesday goes, both McCracken, from what I understand, it's a 4-hour deposition, 2 hours for Jack's side, 2 hours for the Fenn Estate side, 2 hours for McCracken's side. They will each get 2 hours of questions. I don't think it went that long for Zoe. I think it will go that long. There will be lists and lists of questions, I think. And then the judge, okay, so that's Friday. So we will not hear officially what happens. McCracken has been really open and sharing, or at least highlights. And then he says he's saving some things for court, but he's going to put out everything at the end. Now, the estate actually used that against him. So this is why most lawyers say, be quiet until court, because they can use what you're saying against you. And that's happened with McCracken. Okay, keep going. Wait, go back to the slide. What else did I say?
That's the end.
No,
Judge's decision on Thompson.
Judge will decide on the Thompson motion. That doesn't have to be a hearing. They have seen Thompson's position, the estate's response. So that should happen this week, because discovery ends this week. And if Thompson is granted, that's going to put a whole different, I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be time barred. And I told Greg that before he submitted, and he's putting in, and I think there's a risk because he can get hit with a counterclaim and all of that. But he was willing to do it.
Stephanie says the Cody Museum has an audio time capsule of Forrest to be released in 2026. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know if there's anything to do with the treasure hunt or treasure chest, but that's still pretty cool. And yeah, that's it.
I'd love to hear if Godelkin knows about that. And that's interesting in itself.
And I will also show this since we're coming up on 2:00.
But I know that the Cody Museum had a big falling out with Forrest right before he died. I wonder if it's because of that. That's interesting.
For anybody who doesn't know, we've got the Native American art, the lifetime collection of Forrest Fenn is going up for auction. And when I say we, me and K-Pro have nothing to do with this. An anonymous source sent us this website with this supposed collection of Forrest Fenn that's going to be auctioned live on June 9th, 2022. And in the chat, I'm going to put that link if anybody wants to register there and try and bid. That'd be interesting to see what's there. And
I actually went and registered, and there's no details or information yet, guys.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of interesting that they just put that up and not any of the details yet. So that'll be its own thing. So.
And I was going to make a comment about the Beacon Star, but I think I'll wait till Thursday. The biggest point, legal point, I think, out of all this is when somebody does a treasure hunt, is it a legal contract? If the rule, and if it is, don't the rules and terms and conditions of said treasure hunt have to be in the book that contains the treasure hunt, or reference to a website or some external source?
Well,
because if it doesn't explicitly state that, I don't see how it's an enforceable contract.
And if it doesn't explicitly state that, I think that's poor form for an originator. They need to put it out explicitly. Otherwise, it'll be debated in court, in my opinion. So.
Well, the result of this will be interesting. The result of Greg's motion saying, hey, I'm deserved it as a treasure hunter. Let's see. And it may just, if he just missed the timeline, oh, that's too bad. And Denise earlier said, I know a lawyer. I could file a motion on behalf of all searchers, but she can't because you said the deadline's up. Is that right?
Right. That was after the 12-month time frame. Now, this was one of the questions that I got, I think, yesterday or day before with the searcher that we all know, or at least Mike and I know, a good guy. And he said, should we file a petition that says, as searchers, we would not harm the location, but we believe that we are entitled to that because of the statements that Forrest has made, and just show the power in numbers. And maybe it'll have 100 or 500 or 1,000 or 2,000. I said, let me think about it. But like petition.org, that could that help or could that hurt? I would love your opinions. Put it in the comment box. I believe it. And if we say in this petition, and we will not harm the location, and we will be, and they show, and it shows how much closure they will get for so many, I don't know if that would sway the judge or not. So I wanted to talk about that. Then how did we get this far? We got this far because there's no motion to dismiss. I've talked about that. This time capsule thing, whoo, Stephanie dropped the bomb. I want to know more about that. I believe that could be FOIA. So I would love to know more about that. That's kind of breaking news in itself. Thank you, Stephanie. And for anyone this is in this chat room who is thinking of suing Jack, the Fenn estate, what would you hope they know before you did, i.e. potential money that might be involved? I don't know. I don't know what that looked like. A Whisper says, don't you think Greg could get in trouble for recording people, minors, without their knowledge? I absolutely believe secret recordings are illegal, and especially if, yeah.
All right, I gotta go, Kate, bro. Do you want to stay on and answer questions?
Yes.
You can end this. Yeah, go ahead. All right, everybody. I'm going to drop off. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you thumbs up. And again, whenever we have these motions, whenever have been ruled on, we'll go live. Forrest Fenn Treasure Found Monday night. We'll see you then.
Okay. I guess I'm only going to be on for a couple more minutes. Gedelkin says it has been out for years. Do you mean this time capsule? It's new information to me. And maybe that doesn't mean, like, I try to capture as much stuff as possible. So there is a time capsule of Forrest in 2026. I'd love to see the MOU, even if it's redacted in some standpoints. What is supposed to be in it? When did it get? Oh, he's pleading the fifth now. But if it's been out for years, searchers, tell me about this. There is a time capsule that Forrest is putting out that gets released in 2026. Forrest would have been then 95. Does it say? Do we know it's in this said time capsule? I don't know. First I've heard of it, but I miss a lot until I have 15 new emails tonight. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them. Yeah. Do you have Do you have to pass an interview when you enter Yellowstone now? What? No. Okay. Are there any other questions for me? Because I'm going to drop off as well. I wanted to do this because I don't want to go over every document and every piece of it. I want to hit more of the breaking news pieces and summarize the stuff in long court documents. So I know that it seems a little counterintuitive because I am getting some of that feedback of assisting McCracken with trying to get the government not to be successful in their motion to intervene. Greg's motion, oh, how can you support Greg after what he did to you? I am trying to put all of that in the past and the negative stuff in the past. And I really just want to focus on what this looks like moving forward to try to get closure. Because the one thing that I know is the Forrest family is not going to get peace until the majority part of the community gets closure. And I don't think Yellowstone is going to be enough for that. What's the, it's in Cody. I don't believe that, but if we see more evidence officially in the court documents, sure. What happened with F and Buffalo Bill? I heard, this might be for Cabro's Corner, and I have to really think about the answer. Where did I hear it? I don't remember where I heard it from, but Center of the West and Forrest in their last year had some issues of donations, what they were making accessible, what they weren't, the amount of resources that they were putting in to when searchers came. There was a 9-foot box that was donated to the McCracken Research Library. And because of the Forrest Fenn searchers, they had to put it under where you actually had to show your ID to go and see it and all of that. And they didn't scan it in. They didn't like the amount of resources they were needing to protect the donations because sometimes the donations weren't worth the dollar amount that we're talking about. McCracken Research Library now shows October 6th. It's Buffalo Bill Center of the West interview video. Yeah, I think that's the one that Davio found. Yeah. Yeah. So in general, I think the one thing that we're seeing is we kind of had a month or two that we didn't have a lot of information. And now we're getting a lot all at the same time. So we're going to need to digest this, but the court situation is going to heat up for this next week because of the discovery phase being Friday where it drops off. Discovery means you can't depose anybody else. You can't have witnesses, etc. How Shiloh wasn't going to be deposed. I think Shiloh and Zoe are so different. I'm really surprised. Okay, I'm going to put that through. I don't know why it was held. Stephanie, my email to Forrest, there being a tape from you from 2006. There's something in box 2, folder 9, interview 9 that can't be opened until 2026. Huh. So there's something that is time opened in 2026. Maybe that's where we'll get the answers. I don't know. And this is what I mean about Forrest not administering this really well. Jack was right. Kind of left a S show, if you will. And it left a lot of us at odds because, yeah, Forrest told me that recording is a part of oral history of the old guys in this country. It was made years ago and is of no value to anyone in looking for the treasure. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the Library of Congress. Why does he keep saying that when the only one is the Vietnam part? Do you know if the video was sold or leased of rights given to use for Netflix? Packer Jack, from what I understand, no. Netflix does not have, and so there's some that are saying that Douglas Preston sold codecs to a movie group that some searchers are a part of producing. Douglas told me that's not only not the case, he wanted the specific information to take legal action if he needed to. But then that got wrapped up in a searcher kind of drama thing. So I've just kind of left alone. But from what I understand, anyone else, I don't believe Netflix has access to any of that at this point. I don't think they have access to the family. I don't think the family's given an interview. I may be wrong, though. I don't know. Stuck says the family's creating the shit show. Just give the solution. The hard part is, Stuck, we just figured out why they haven't given the solution. There in August of 2020, there was a deal negotiated that they wouldn't, or the Forrest estate could be sued. They could be held liable under the Super Act. So this really does, 2026 does exist. Okay, I know the year does. I want to know what's in. I didn't know about this. So this is new information. Douglas Preston is really Forrest Fenn, and Forrest Fenn is really Douglas Preston. I've been in a room with both of them. I don't think that's true. I don't know, though. Maybe. This is where the conspiracy theorist part of it. I just want the 9 clues and solution. I know others are they can have the torch to, is there a conspiracy, etc. That's not the space I'm going to be in. And especially when it's negative and stuff. And I know some people are going to be excited when Mike and I leave the community, and we won't leave the overall amusement park, though. I'm having fun we have Vegas Die. That one kind of died, though. We have the Jingle Bell Rock. We have a couple of the others that'll be fun to watch. But I want to see this through. Mike has wanted to be away from this because this is what has gotten so personal to so many of us. The room you were in doesn't exist. The room doesn't exist. What room? Steve, I don't know what you're saying. Any news, rumors of the potential of Jack's auction of the treasure chest? Oh, is Cynthia still in here? Yes. So okay, this is totally opinion and rumor. So I'm only going to give you opinion and rumor, and I'm not going to name sources. I'm just going to say I've heard from one person that is relatively close to Jack say, and it's all third hand, so it's rumor, that Jack is trying to sell it. He's still considering it being sold as a whole, but he appraised it. It's at Heritage. It's finally gotten finished appraising, and he's walking through the process now. I talked to a searcher that has done Heritage auctions, and she said it takes several months. So if this is in process and it started in the last month, you're not going to hear anything for a few months. That's one set of information. This weekend, I got some other third-hand information of a searcher that says, I'm still in the running. I'm still involved, and I put an offer in. The Fenn factor, as we know it, has been going down. So my offer is less than all the crap that happened last year with Entity Gate 1.8, 2.0. It's starting to go down. But I'm going to try to buy it as a whole. But Jack has said he is waiting until this case, now that he has been asked and been deposed, he is waiting until it is over because he doesn't know what he's going to need to testify to. That doesn't contradict due to timing. That means things have been evolving. And I actually believe both sources as somewhat genuine, that both of those may be the case. There you go. Okay. Anything else before I drop off, you guys? I know there's over 200 of you here, and we've gone over 2 hours. But this is what I don't want to focus our time on, is reading those documents. I want to discuss more tomorrow night. I don't know what tomorrow or Monday night. I want to hear from you in the comment section what you're thinking at this point. But emails are out. Things are being confirmed. Supra is being confirmed. Yellowstone's being confirmed, in my opinion. So little by little, we're getting it. I'm not saying I agree with the legal process, but it's what's happening. So we're going to report on it. Can you start over? I missed some. No, you can replay it, and you can replay the chat. The chest is selling Jack at Heritage Auction. Steve, you're the one who said that you contacted Heritage and it wasn't selling there. Do you have different information? Okay, please say it for me. Serpa. Okay, I said it for you. Not Supra. Oh, like the car, Supra. Okay. You're funny, Sassy. You're a perfectionist. That's why you get so many treasure hunts, because of your brain. Okay. Well, there's lots of other scuttlebutt, rumors, information. I do want to focus on, I believe the family does need some closure. The community needs some closure. They need to put this behind them. And we've got to figure out a way to get that. And I'm being opinionated about it. Do you know if the email "all will be revealed" was true? Someone said they had an email essentially saying they were told, saying there was untold info. T. Brown, this was a person that corresponded with Mike, not me. But the information, I believe, is an active searcher. He was actually a tuber. He is well known. He has also given the information to some of the other tubers about not paying the bets and the Wyoming and all of that. I don't understand that in light of all of this. And this is maybe why Forrest, when we heard that recording of like the best thing in the world is nobody to ever contact me, etc. I think Forrest was going to get caught telling some stories and some people were going to be not happy. I don't know. What's the percentage that a piece of land in Cody is associated with Yellowstone National Park? I don't believe that, but if I were to see evidence, hey, I believe Turd and GPS at a time. So maybe I don't believe that to be the case. I think the borders are pretty well defined, but I have been proven wrong before, AKA Turd. I listened to Turd. So yeah. So, okay. I'm going to go now. Thank you guys for being here. Monday night, we're going to see where things evolve we will summarize this on Monday night, and then we will put forth anything more. I've gotten at least 15 emails up on Thor. You need to make sure to put @KPro if you email me. I know some people really feel strongly in their solves, and I offended one person because I was like, right now, I believe 9 Mile Hole. I'm not going to listen in great length to New Mexico solves, etc. That doesn't make you wrong. It just makes me where I need to focus my time. Do not assume when we are on live, I am not looking at any other's content anymore. I just needed to kind of disconnect myself because I have my own journey I'm on. So that's my next step. So if something hits really groundbreaking on another channel, please let us know because it'll be great. I'm going to go and try to look at Toby's. I apologize to Toby. I know 9 Mile Hole doesn't exist. It exists. It just might not be the final location. And I still put that in my mind that I believed in GPS so strongly. And I said some things that I really believed in at the time. And there was just misinformation and people's intent. It was so yucky. Anyway, so I've learned a lot through it. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you to Mike for being a part of this. Toby's going to owe me $1,000. Whew. Okay. So thanks guys. I'm off for the night. Have a good one. I have no idea how to make this stop. Let's see if I can click some buttons. Bye guys.